Welcome, Rayman. Just you to Untitled, Unfocused.
It's me in Untitled and Unfocused.
It's Raymond. It's
Back in.
Tyler. You know what I mean? We took a while to get Craig Bot to work.
It
His
took us a
brother,
week.
yeah, it literally took a week. Um, yeah, man, we got some good stuff to talk about. Why don't we start off with? We've already started to talk about it off camera, but let's start with WandaVision, right?
Ooh, WandaVision.
So
I binged all of it. Yes, I did.
you did. You didn't go week to week, but you know.
I should have watched it weekly, honestly. Like,
Would have been good.
would have been nice to watch weekly. I could have had some anticipation, but after just binging it all, worth it. Worth it.
So yeah, I guess we'll just kind of go through it. I want to ask you some questions, Ray. And you also didn't, yeah, you didn't go week to week, so your answers might be kind of different than what mine would be.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I just did all of them. Yeah.
So, first one, Ray, was there any doubt in your mind whatsoever that Agatha was the main antagonist of the show? Because
No, she was too convenient actually.
there was, there was a bunch of fan theories about Mephisto. I don't know if you saw all those memes.
I did see the Mephisto memes. I did see them.
It was just
People
like,
ask. I looked at the memes afterwards, and I was like, yo, a lot of people were asking for Mephisto out here. I feel like Mephisto worked better, I guess, in like Multitudes of Madness with Doctor Strange, but I mean that's just my opinion.
yeah. I mean, I don't even know if we'll see him ever. It was just funny to see every single week people point their finger at another character and it's like, no, that's Mephisto.
I can see people pointing at Quicksilver and be like, Mephisto.
People thought he was. People thought Agatha was. People thought the rabbit was Mephisto. It was literally anyone.
What was it? It was like what was like when she was Agnes, right? What was the name of like her husband?
Oh, I don't know.
It was like
I don't
Rob or
remember.
something.
Yeah, something.
Okay, but like it turns out that guy is just Quicksilver, which is like the funniest thing.
Yeah.
And his last name was Boner. I was like,
Yeah. Which was another thing, right? Where I don't know if did you see any of the newer X-Men movies? Do you
no.
know of Quicksilver?
No, I understood that was supposed to be a Fox Quicksilver that they brought in.
Yeah. So with the newer X-Men movies, that dude plays Quicksilver, and he's actually one of the best parts of those movies. He's like actually fun, and his scenes with him going in slow motion, or I guess everyone around him is slow. And yeah, people really wanted him to be the Fox Quicksilver, so we can get the like crossover. And we know that X-Men are coming to the MCU at some point, so we're like, oh, maybe it's gonna be like a multiverse thing.
Everyone's like, I was like, this is the lead-in. This is what we're gonna get to get X-Men.
Yeah, didn't happen though. Didn't happen. It was
it's just this
dude.
random guy who lives in the house. It's Marvel poking sticks at us again. Be like, huh? It was funny, wasn't it? It was funny, wasn't it? Yeah. You stupid! You thought you'd get X-Men so early?
you thought. Which is really what this whole show was, where it was every week people having like dozens of fan theories, and literally none of them came true. None of it.
Again, Marvel being like, oh yeah, you like this fan theory? You like what we have here? You like what we hint at? We only give you Agatha.
Only Agatha.
You only get Agatha.
And yeah, like I thought it was cool that she let her live. I'm sure that we'll see her again at some point.
Oh yeah, no, that's nice. That's nice. It's like when I was watching Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, and like like Goku invites Broly to the tournament. He's like, "We should join. We'll have a lot of fun." And I'm like, "That's a cool, nice thing for Super to do." I never watched Super. I should stress, I only watched the Broly movie, and it was pretty good actually, for a casual Dragon Ball Z fan to enjoy.
Still really getting me, Ray. I don't think I said it once we started recording, but my camera's just like it's like a second. It's like a second off. I don't know how to fix it,
Yo, the delay just makes it funny.
It's literally
just
never
watching you be
before.
frantic with the delay.
It's never done this before. I don't know. Whatever.
Am I smooth? Am I coming in like normal speed?
Yeah, you're fine. You're completely fine. Which doesn't make sense. It's my computer, my camera. Why is mine off but yours isn't? Doesn't make any sense.
It's so funny. Okay.
I'll fix it in post.
Let me see what I got here. These are my brother's Pokemon codes.
What are you doing? Yeah.
You want a shiny Zygarde code? Guess
Oh,
what?
dude, nice.
It's not revealed. He doesn't have the code here. He has.
Oh man.
Get got. Okay, put it back. Oh man.
So you just didn't redeem that? Like what's going on?
I don't know why he didn't redeem it. I'll ask him like, your shiny Zygarde code, you didn't redeem it. Is that a dupe? Or like you just got it in one game and didn't get in the other one?
You can probably sell it on eBay, you know?
Sell on eBay, dude. You want a shiny Zygarde? I got you, fam. Imagine the event's down so you can't redeem it.
Yeah. The expiration date, yeah. One of my favorite parts of this show, Ray, was when it was still a mystery. Like in the beginning, I really liked watching Vision like try to piece everything together. Like when he took the one dude out of the spell at his job or whatever when they were looking at the email.
You know, like the last 2 episodes, I really count the last 2 episodes almost as like a different genre.
Oh, nice, cool. Listen, Ray, I don't know what this episode is gonna look like.
This is botched already. It's so botched. Yeah, the last 2 episodes I count completely different because like before that you get like this nice mystery and everything's like going like smoothly. Like sort of for the most part you're trying to piece it all together. Like we understand Wanda created her own world. We're like, okay, why did it happen? They kind of explain it. That's pretty dope. And they're like, she stole Vision. She didn't steal Vision at all. We find out.
She didn't steal Vision, which was crazy.
I truly believe that guy is Sword, not Sword, Hydra, because they keep like, I know you noticed, but like every time, like in the first episodes or whatever, they kept sneaking in Hydra ads.
Oh yeah, they did, yeah.
Like every ad was a Hydra ad, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like it's like Hydra's partially because of like like she's like like she was like taken by Hydra, but I feel like he's also Hydra. It's like my man wanted to recreate Vision and kill her, and like program Vision to do other stuff that he's not meant to do. After literally saying we can't rebuild the Vision, it's against his will.
Yeah. But then in the end, they did make another Vision, basically.
Yeah. And it is Vision, I guess. It's Vision now.
Yeah, but like it's not fully Vision. Like he doesn't have any like emotions. He has all the memories of Vision, but he still isn't like a person the same way Vision was a person, you know, because like Vision had to go through multiple movies and fall in love with Wanda to.
Yeah, he gave him the memories. I guess he awoke him, so it's like he's almost like he has no emotional ties to anyone, but he understands what Vision understands.
Yeah.
And he sees the world through that point of view now.
Which is really cool. Like again, I'm sure we'll see him again, and that'll be kind of his struggle of like figuring out what exactly he is and what he wants to do with his knowledge.
Like he's accepted he is Vision.
Yeah.
But now he's like, but now what?
Right. Yeah.
It felt real good. This was nice. I thought it was nice, like breath of fresh air. I thought from the standard Marvel that they throw you in. Very different. Definitely. Very appreciated. I loved it.
I like that they have so like we've put so much trust in them at this point that they're just like, let's just get weird, let's just make anything. and you guys will watch it. We know you will.
Episode 1 was really weird too. Like I was like, yo, episode 1. So like the man was literally dying. She did not get up to help him at all.
Yeah.
She let Vision do it, and I'm like, you could probably save him too.
Probably, yeah. I mean, yeah, that was like the first big point though of something is off, something is happening. This isn't real, And it was cool to see that wife of the boss was from that 70s show.
Oh yeah,
really cool. She still looks exactly the same.
It's like we were making a bunch of Red jokes after a while.
Yeah.
Because Red's not in, because they didn't bring the Red's actor from that 70s show. I don't know if he died or not, so I can't say that.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
But like we started going off on like a bunch of tangents saying like how like he's here in this world. like no one sees him.
Yeah, man. I thought the final fight scene was probably my least favorite part of the finale.
I think it's the least favorite because it's what you expected.
Yeah, I mean, it just falls into the whole like all most MCU fights are just them fighting themselves, which happened
Hmm.
twice with Vision fighting himself and then Wanda fighting
I
another
will say the
witch.
Vision fight was probably better than the Agnes fight.
Yeah, I
And the
mean,
reason why it's better is because it wasn't actually a fight; it was a battle of wits.
yeah, exactly, right? I I forget what like phrase he said, but I've heard it before. The whole like
It's
removing
like I'm
pieces
pretty
of
sure
the
it's like
doll.
I think it's like Theseus' ship, I believe,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and
I was like,
like
oh,
how like it changed over time. So like, what is considered like Theseus' ship really? Is it the parts of the original ship, or is it the ship he has now, even though all the parts have been replaced?
right.
And the answer is, of course, as they both realize it's both correct. They're both Theseus' ship. It's just a
It,
matter of perspective.
in that moment, I thought Vision's plan was to like do that thing we've seen in shows and movies before, where you're trying to fight a robot, where you just try to like confuse it, or you try to give it a paradox, and then it like
Mhm.
short circuits or whatever.
Like have it kill itself. I thought he was trying to do that
Yeah.
too, but then like it came to the conclusion that they're both the same. Except
Mhm.
we know that Vision now knows, at least on Wanda's Vision, that
Yeah.
he's not real.
Right. Yeah.
He knows he's just like created by her.
Which was another thing going into it, where we for the longest time we thought that she stole Vision's body, and then was it the first or second episode where she had the flash of like dead Vision, and I was like, oh, what's going on here? So I think up until that point we were supposed to believe that she was like puppeting Vision's body, but then
Hmm.
later we see, oh, she never actually took the body.
She just created Vision mentally, which
Yeah,
and he's as strong as Vision, which is like
yeah.
she recreated Vision inside of her own world.
Another thing too was her kids. Was like, are her kids real? Are they not real? Like,
They're not real, but like she
yeah,
created again two other terrifyingly strong children.
exactly, yeah. And I think you already kind of said it, but she is really powerful. Like for her to be able to control a whole city or a whole town, create three beings and have them be like tangible and like extraordinarily tangible.
And not only that, like have free will.
Yeah, because Vision was trying to like Vision left
Yeah,
the hex at one point, you know?
like she created like free will, like Vision inside of herself, and like it was able to leave obviously, but it's just a tangent of herself.
Yeah. And some explanation to that which we got I think later on, and then it was confirmed with like Vision, or no, with what Vision asked her was she used some of the one Infinity Stone. I don't remember which one it was, but some of the stone that was still inside of her to
Yeah,
create him.
the Mind Stone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the Mind Stone.
because she was experimented on with it. So
Hmm.
it's just crazy. I was having a blast with that, by the way. I thought like her powers like are not like, again, it's not like Reality Stone level, because like the Reality Stone, it just alters it. I guess like there's no like temporal field or anything.
Hmm.
It's like permanent change. But I guess whatever Wanda does, as long as it's in her like radius, I guess, of strength, like how like large she can make her field, like that's a change that's basically permanent unless you were able to get it to leave the field.
Yeah, yeah, because once you start leaving it, it breaks down, which is what happened to Vision.
Mhm. But like that's basically on par with like in most cases the Reality Stone.
And
It's
that's
just
just where she
limited.
is now.
Yeah,
Like you said earlier, I don't know if you said it on
I
camera or
didn't say it
not.
in the recording. Yeah.
But yeah, she's learning at the end. Like she's actually studying, which is something she's never done.
Oh yeah, no, she's going and like she's trying to hone this power. She's took the book apparently. People said it's from Shield or whatever, or like
Yeah,
Agents of Field. But I'm
so
like okay.
with that, I don't know if it's from Agents of Shield, but I do know it's from Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange in the hall, whatever room or whatever it is, there's a wall with those books. And if you go back to the movie, which I didn't, but I saw screenshots, there's a book missing. And so that's the book that Wanda has. But that book is like dark magic though. So
Which actually stole her. Actually, it just turns out that's like
so now there's like this question of like, is her learning more dark magic good? Because like Agatha got into dark
well,
magic and
she's a witch
she
though, so it's like that's like it's kind of like you're falling on that.
sure,
Like
But
witches all just use black magic, I guess.
if you saw the flashback with Agatha, like she was gonna be burned at the stake for doing dark magic, and all those around, although all the other people around her were witches.
Yeah, but I guess like they all just did normal hexes and all that stuff compared to
Yeah.
Agatha.
Then it's also
Uh,
she's
I'm
Scarlet
really
Witch
Marvel.
too. Like she's also like apparently Agatha said it, like it's her destiny to destroy the world. So like I don't know how like it's kind of a double-edged sword in my mind of like, yeah, she should get more powerful and she should learn how to do these things because she considers herself a hero. But is it like Raven from Teen Titans reference? Raven is evil inherently, so it's like the stronger she gets, she could um, accidentally tip into being evil. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like that was a thing in like OG Teen Titans and like the show
Yeah.
where like they flashed forwarded. I know you know what episode I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And like Raven's like the like last being or whatever. Not like the
She's
last
like
being, but like she's like basically like the strongest one there.
she's like
And,
a literal god.
and she's like only like on the cusp of like holding it back though.
Hmm.
Like she could break the world, but she's like barely at its limit.
Yeah, because it's just too much to handle,
Hmm.
and so she has to use literally every fiber of her being to to like hold it back and not just kill everyone she loves or the world she knows.
It was like this. It was like the one episode where Starfire just went in the future and saw everything. It's like
Oh
wow,
yeah,
that's
it was because like Dr. Light or something. he found out how to use like time travel magic or time travel technology,
yeah,
and Starfire fell in after him. And then yeah, we saw like Robin was Nightwing, and which was super dope to see that.
yeah. Nightwing, Robin. You had like Beast Boy was in a zoo. He was
Yeah,
hiding in a zoo.
yeah.
Cyborg was like a cyborg, I guess. I don't remember really.
He was still at the tower, and he had like a bunch of machines hooked up to him, and he was like super old, and like he couldn't leave the tower because he couldn't leave basically his life support, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, which was super sad, but he seemed to be the only one that was happy to see Starfire. He's like, oh man, another person. Like, oh, you're back and you're young. That's weird. You know?
Yeah, like, I guess like he's not like chained down. Like Beast Boy lost all sense of human.
Yeah, I mean because you said he was in a zoo. Like, yeah, he was. Imagine being in a zoo. That'd be awful for like decades or whatever.
Mhm.
Terrible. You would exactly. You would lose who you are. Wild. But then the other. So we had the post credit scene, right? Right. That's gonna lead into Doctor Strange, which we already know that.
Mhm.
Maybe she's evil. We're gonna see her fight Doctor Strange. Maybe he's gonna take her on as like his student, which would be cool.
Like honestly, I think he's gonna take like a sort of mentoring figure slash like if anything, I have to kill her.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like that. I mean, again, it's multiverse of madness, so maybe Wanda like breaks reality or something.
And then there's like some people out here like saying things like, "Oh, how come Doctor Strange didn't come to like stop her from
Oh
doing
yeah.
all that stuff?" You think he wants to awaken the Scarlet Witch. I think he knows what he's doing at this point. It's like it's slight of a cop out as well for MCU, where you can be like, "Oh, why didn't Doctor Strange like look at this or do anything?" Like slight cop out. I'll give him this. Like I think like to the credit of Doctor Strange, you can make it in such a way that he wants things to happen.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, he is supposed to protect everything, so maybe this is all part of the plan. And also, they might explain it in Doctor Strange too, where it's like he was busy with something even worse than Scarlet Witch. You know what I mean? Maybe like he was like,
It was a price to pay. He's like,
yeah,
"We'll have to let this happen just so I can do this."
the same thing in Infinity War, right? Where it was like, no, why would you give him the time stone? It's like, well, we had to. We had to give Thanos the stone. Um, there's something else with that too. I forgot. Yeah, I don't know. Then the mid credit scene though was Monica Rambeau. She was seeing the deputy officer, whatever she was, and she was really a scroll.
Yeah. And then she's like, "We
Which
gotta have you meet our guy." And I
yeah,
was like, "It's Nick Fury."
yeah, which is pretty much leading into Captain Marvel 2. Um, did you see the investors meeting, or maybe you just read like the notes afterwards
Maybe most
that
likely. Just hit me
that
with it.
that Disney had, where they announced like a million things. Like they announced like 15 Disney Plus shows, and it happened like a few months ago.
Was it like after like Loki and all that stuff? Like, was it the same announcement with that, or like was it a different announcement? Probably
I
different.
mean, we already knew about Loki. Yeah, the announcement of Loki was like a couple years ago, I think. It was actually it was in December because it was happening at the same exact time as the Game Awards.
Rayman scrolling to find the Marvel subreddit
You know,
to see
it
what's
doesn't
happening.
really matter. I was just gonna say that there's a show on there that I think is Secret Invasion. It's gonna be a Disney Plus show, and I think that's also like spearheaded by Nick Fury because he has the whole scroll thing. He has the
Yeah, Secret
sword.
Invasion's like scroll stuff.
Yeah, and if you remember at the end of, was it the first Captain Marvel, right? And you see him in space with the sword, like base basically, and like all the scrolls. So I'm sure that's kind of what everything there is leading to. Yeah, man, I'm excited for that. To see Captain Marvel again. There was I don't know if you caught it in the episode, but it was, first of all, Darcy came back, and I thought she was great. I thought this was the most I've liked her in anything she's been in.
Oh yeah, she's fun in this one.
Yeah,
I mean, she was fun in Thor 2. I give her that. Like
I-
Thor 2 was it was just it was trying to find what it wanted.
yeah,
And
definitely. Um, then we had Jimmy Woo, who I forgot about, but
love Jimmy Woo.
yeah, so good.
So good. So good. Was
Um,
great in Ant-Man.
yeah,
He's great
awesome.
here.
But there was one scene where they already figured out the whole TV thing, right? They were watching WandaVision on TV, which was very meta. But and then they realized something was going on, so they started to like put their heads together, figure some stuff out, figure out like pinpoint all the characters and everything with Monica, and one of them mentioned Captain Marvel, and
Mhm.
Monica had like a very dismissive comment towards that. So, people were like, "Oh, something happened between her and Captain Marvel." And it's probably because the last time they saw each other was from Captain Marvel, and then she just went to space and never came back down. So I wonder if they're gonna mess with that at all in the second movie, where it's like, hey, you kind of abandoned us, like me and my mom, and we never saw you again. Like,
Wait, that
and
was
now,
Monica? Wait, hold up. See, this is how much I think.
yeah, yeah. In Captain Marvel, remember she meets, or like that was like her friend or whatever, was Monica's mom, and then they go back to her place, and there's Monica, the like kid, the child.
Oh, that's the little kid?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dude.
Because remember, Ray, Captain Marvel was in the
Oh,
night.
it took place in like an 80s. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's her. And then yeah, you remember in this show, like Monica's mom died when she came back from the hospital. She was like, "Oh, where's my mom?" And she was like, "I don't know. She's dead."
Yo, like no joke. I could not tie the two together. I was like, yo, this is
Yeah,
a
yeah,
great,
yeah.
crazy new character. Thank you for that.
So that's like the whole thing. Like now she has powers, and I wonder if they're gonna play around with that. Like my mom is dead too. Like I don't know if you knew that. You guys were like best friends, or maybe even closer than friends. Like it'd be cool if they did, and it wasn't just like some throwaway comment.
Mhm.
And she has powers too, which is cool. We don't really know the extent of them. She can block bullets, I guess.
It's like some energy field type of stuff, but it's
Yeah.
like ridiculous though, because like it's like super speed combined with that.
Which I feel like is like kind of a cop out at this point, where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
she can just like mess with her energy, like her molecules, and it's like, well, what does that mean? I
What
don't
does
need
that
you to
mean?
define her powers exactly for me.
I guess like the excuse they're using is Scarlet Witch like rewrote all of it. But like, let me
Yeah,
see if I
yeah.
can look up her character. Like that's like I wonder if that's like a if she's like an actual hero and just
Oh yeah,
rewrote
oh
it.
yeah. She has her name. She has multiple names, but I know one of them is Photon. Which again, yes, goes into like the energy and like the cells or whatever. But like
Photon Pulsar.
we didn't see her
So
enough in this show to actually define her powers. We just know that she was able to get through the hex, which awoken her powers, and then she can stop bullets with some kind of energy thing, you know?
She herself becomes a Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I remember reading that somewhere from someone, I don't know. She probably won't in the MCU, at least for a while, because Captain
Yeah.
Marvel is so new. And I can't imagine Captain Marvel dying anytime soon.
But what's her equivalent, dude? She's like a Doctor Manhattan Light.
Okay, okay. Did you watch Watchmen, the show?
Not this show. I should watch it actually. It was on my plan to watch
Okay.
list.
Yeah, you should. It was pretty good. So anyway, yeah,
Thanks for that.
WandaVision.
Then.
So to kind of wrap up the WandaVision stuff, Ray. You're gonna watch Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I should probably watch it weekly. Is it already out yet or no?
Yeah, yeah. No, it's Friday.
Friday? Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I
so,
got you.
which is crazy, Ray. I don't know if you realize this. Every single week of this year has something Marvel releasing. It's either a show or a movie. Every single week. Crazy.
I can't wait for What If actually. What If sounds fun.
Yeah, I think after Falcon and Winter Soldier, we have Loki, and then it's What If.
I'm more excited for Loki than anything else, honestly.
I am too. Like, yeah, like same with Falcon Winter Soldier. I think it'll be fun. It's kind of like a buddy cop type thing. But then Loki sounds crazy, and then What If sounds crazy.
Like What If is just like obviously like it's just nice to watch What If like hey what if this happened or like this happened. It's just nice to imagine.
And it's animated, which is cool.
Mm-hmm. I can kind of give that a prop. But Loki is like the biggest thing I was thinking for MCU. Like, I was like WandaVision is probably gonna be like pushing it.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, Falcon Winter Soldier. I feel like they may low key make Falcon and Winter Soldier somewhat essential for the MCU.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, like directors, writers, and stuff will say whatever to push their stuff, but one of them did come out and say, Falcon Winter Soldier is gonna have more fan theories than WandaVision," and I'm like, I don't know if I believe that, but I respect it.
I feel like it's because they can push more stuff with like Hydra, Shield, and Sword.
Yeah, and then like Zemo is back, and like he has his like comic mask, from the comics or whatever. So it's like, oh man, what does it mean?
What does it mean? And then what else was there? That sounds cool. Yeah, because like a lot of people have like theories and everything. Like Loki just sounds big though, because of like, how the span of Loki could be though.
Yeah, I mean he's like jumping. I mean, we don't know exactly what it is, but it looks like he's like jumping through different dimensions, maybe. I mean, because the last we saw him, he had one of the
Tesseract.
stones. Yeah, the Tesseract. Yeah. So it's like, what is he doing? And then he's getting maybe recruited by some sort of like Men in Black-esque organization.
People already found out who it is because it's a comic character. I forget who it is already.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But like, who was the actor? It was Owen Wilson.
Oh yes, Owen Wilson is in this. Can't wait. There's gonna be so many memes, dude.
Oh man, I was so excited for Loki, dude. I still think about it, and I'm like, yo.
It's gonna be really good. But Black Widow is still holding its ground. It's gonna release in May.
I'll say this too about Black Widow. I feel like Black Widow is also gonna be low key important, which is like,
yeah,
because like Spider-Man like Far From Home, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was a nice little like post blippage, what they call it, post blip. Nice little fact, and they remind everyone post blip again with WandaVision, giving you more of a look at the world, what happened. Like it was chaos for like the first couple of weeks, trying to figure out what happened there.
WandaVision was a lot closer though.
Mm-hmm.
WandaVision was like a week after.
Yeah.
And Far From Home, I think, was months, maybe.
It was already adapted. Like they were in the next school year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like afterward. But still, though, it's like it's still like around the same time frame. I guess we'll put it that way. Where like I guess in like chronologically, it's like WandaVision and then like you go into Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it's like it's still so close together that it's like it's just two different perspectives of it. I guess like not really like it's like, these kids are getting adjusted to and they're already used to it. But it's like, yeah, it's more like Spider-Man just like doing his own thing.
Yeah, I mean, Spider-Man gave us a better understanding of the world reacting to, okay, this is over now, everyone's back, how are we adjusting? And then WandaVision was like how like the absolute worst can happen. Obviously for Wanda it's way worse because she's Scarlet Witch, but
Mhm,
it also shows how terrible things can be for people, you know?
mhm,
I mean, even that one scene in the hospital when everyone was coming back, like how hectic that was, and like what does it mean for people to just come back? You know?
mhm. It's like you were dead presumably
Yeah,
for
you were
this movie.
gone. How much
Years.
um how much present time stuff do you think we'll see in Black Widow? Because we know that it's set, I think it's set like around Winter Soldier, maybe I think after Winter Soldier, because it's essentially a prequel, obviously, because she's she's still alive. Like, do you think we'll get any like will it just be post credit scenes or will
Yo, I
maybe?
hope I hope what they do is they do some Soulstone stuff there as well. I hope it's like leading into the
Oh
Soulstone
yeah, yeah, that'd be cool.
and explaining it.
'Cause I feel like ever since this movie was announced, I've just been thinking like, what's the point though? Because like I
Because
know,
there was two Soulstones. You had I forgot her name, and you had Black Widow,
oh, Gamora,
Gamora.
yeah,
You had two Soulstones.
hmm,
Soul for a stone.
sure. Well, one was destroyed though, because you remember Thanos got Gamora's Soul Stone,
Destroyed. Yeah.
and then he destroyed all the stones.
And then like one was returned.
Yeah, one was returned. I remember all the theories about that. Of like, how do you think Captain America returned the Soul Stone? Do you think he went to Red Skull
And
and was
punched him in the
like,
face. Get what
yeah,
you deserve.
yeah.
It's like I'm merely taking the guise of Red Skull.
Why was it Red Skull? You know, it's just because it could. It could be. You know.
That's why it was. It just because they could do Red Skull. We all know it's clearly not him.
I just love. You know, There's always comparisons between the MCU and the XCU, right? And it's like,
Mhm,
oh, the MCU is way better. It's just like it's all because of Kevin Feige, because he's a dude who actually likes comics and he's running everything. Like I remember reading a story recently about how like he hasn't just done MCU stuff, like he's been involved in the Spider-Man movies, like even the old ones and even the X-Men movies in some capacity.
mhm,
And I remember there's a story about him in the early X-Men movies of him. I don't know what he was, he wasn't like as high of a title as he is now, but
mhm.
he was like sneaking comic books into the set and like giving them to the actors and being like, "Hey, this is the character you're playing. You should read this." And then he would get in trouble because I don't know, he wasn't supposed to do that or whatever. But I just love that story because it just shows how much he cares about this
It's
stuff.
like,
And
it's like
he's,
it's a little passion.
yeah, passion, exactly. Just like, yeah, this is what we need in all the other franchises in the world that are trying to be a universe need someone like this. You know what I mean?
It's like you need like a little passion for it, like to make it work. Like leave
Or
the room open. It's
you just
hard
have
to
to,
craft it too. Like the way that it's so weird to say MCU is crafted just from a single Iron Man movie and like leaving it somewhat open at the end. The craft it took like years to build up. It like what was like 4 or 5 years to build up just to make Avengers.
yeah, I mean, Iron Man and Hulk came out like a month apart, and then I think
Hmm.
there was like 2 years before another Marvel movie,
Hmm.
and then until event, I mean, it was '08 to 2012.
And you had like Thor and Captain America drop,
Yeah,
and like okay, we can make the movie now. And then the Iron Man 2,
Iron Man 2. Yeah, yeah.
and then they're like okay, now we make Avengers. Drop that, it opens the crafting was so minuscule. They kept them so distant because they weren't sure. It was a gamble at the time. A gamble. They're gambling. they're rolling the dice. They're like, what are they gonna think about this?
Yeah, I mean, you can tell that too if you go back and watch the old ones where it's like
Mhm.
they've retconned things. Like even Thanos himself has changed like 7 times
I mean,
since
the CG for him
until
has
we see
changed,
him.
but I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's the same with like changing like
Even the like Tesseract got retconned at one point because it was wrong. And it was like, oh no, it's actually this stone. Because in the early days they weren't sure how exactly to build it up and if they were even gonna get a chance to.
yeah, they had the Tesseract, and they're like, okay, well then inside the Tesseract's actually the Mind Stone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then even earlier on, I think in one of the Thor movies,
Or I mean,
there's
like
the
the
scene.
Tesseract's like a Power Stone or whatever. No, it's not the Power. It's like because the Mind
Ah,
Stone's in Loki's scepter, so the Tesseract's another stone. It's like space
yes. Yeah, yeah. Because it's not power or time
or reality.
or reality. Yeah, so it's gotta be space. Oh yeah, because he uses it to like travel. So you imagine
Yeah.
that's what it is. Like even in one of the Thor movies, like Odin is showing off his treasures, and one of them is the gauntlet, and it's like, oh man. And then in Ragnarok,
They're like, it's
Hela's
a
like, oh
fake.
yeah, it's fake, because they had to retcon it, because again, they didn't really know exactly where they were going with everything.
Yeah, it's nice to say that like everyone's like Hell would know though. It's like Hell has like been there since like day one though. It's a
Yeah,
nice way to retcon stuff. Have people who know things before you and be like, yeah, about that.
yeah. I forget there was a poll. I think IGN was doing some sort of poll where they were like ranking. It was like a tournament with every superhero movie that's ever been made.
Mhm.
And on one of the brackets, one of the matchups was Ragnarok versus Endgame. And I was like, I feel like Ragnarok should win.
Ragnarok's better though. It hurts to say it. Like Endgame, me and my brother agree at this point now. Is all like fan content, fan service.
It's all, yeah, it's complete. I mean, if you think about it, it's literally 11 years of payoff.
What the fans wanted, you know?
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean it's a bad movie, but it's like it's what you expect it to be.
I mean, yeah, for me, Endgame is still probably top 5, maybe. But I mean, like, there's movies like Ragnarok where it's just fun and like, you just enjoy it all the way through. Where Endgame, there's some parts where you gotta think. You gotta think about what's going on.
That's why I like Infinity War, dude. Infinity War is just a ride.
Yeah,
You're in it for the ride in Infinity War.
yeah. You don't know what's going on.
You're like, oh man, dude. You're like, is it gonna get worse? It's gonna get better. It got worse. Oh
It
my
got way
god.
worse. And then it ended. Like, all
It's
right,
so good.
pack it up.
It's so good. I remember him just like sitting in the farm and the smile on his face, and I'm like, yes. I was in the theater like this. I'm smiling. My brother was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "This is exactly what I want."
Dude, Thanos is great. Top 5 villains of all time. You know what I mean?
They really wrote him well, though.
It did. Because yeah, I mean, what's that meme that Thanos did nothing wrong? Like, I mean, you can make an argument.
People do the same thing with like Griffith and like other
Hitler.
people. Hitler, yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
come on. I've made the joke a couple times. I think I'm allowed to, though.
Yeah, is that how that works?
No, I don't think so. I'm neither a Nazi nor a German, so I don't think I can make the joke.
What about
Or is
Jewish?
it exactly how it works? Because I'm not either of those.
I don't know. So so MCU stuff, right? Very, very cool. But we also watched other stuff, not just
Like what?
WandaVision. Okay, so we're starting up our anime again, right? Okay, we're doing this. Um, I also realized we're very close to the next season, which I'm excited about.
Wait, the 2 episode thing's really working out right now.
Yeah. So we're doing Cells at Work Black, which is a spin-off of Cells at Work. and we are doing Wonder Egg Priority. Okay, I want to start with Cells at Work
I want to start
because
Cells at Work too.
because then we can get the Wonder Egg.
Wonder Egg's gonna be so much better. Oh my gosh.
Cells at Work
So
though, not bad.
it's not bad. Cells at Work Black is not bad. It's just not as
Um,
good.
no, it's just not as good. Honestly, it's kind of plateaued for me. Okay, so we're doing the first 4 episodes of both. That's just how it worked out. So everyone knows. Spoilers for first 4 episodes.
Bing bang bang
Um,
bang 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 bang.
so yeah, it's kind of plateaued a little bit for me where the first 2 episodes are rising, and I was like, okay, I kind of dig this. He's a red blood cell. He's going through. It's new. We're learning what everything is, and then like we're now getting into the like routine of the show where it's like, oh, here's a problem, and we're gonna fix it. And here's another problem, we're gonna fix it. And I'm like, I hope this isn't the whole show where it's just like monster of the week. It's like, oh, here's a villain, and then we're
I
gonna
hope you,
solve it by the
I
end.
hope you just to clarify this right now for Cells at Work Black, right? You shouldn't think of it as like a monster week. You should think of it as an educational experience.
Right? Yeah, yeah. Of course, of course. But it's like, is there like I need there to be some sort of conflict, and not like WandaVision where there's a literal bad guy you have to fight, but like there's to be an overarching thing and not just the season ends and it's like, so what'd you learn about the human body? It's like, well, I mean, there has to be something more, and I feel like they might be building towards it a little bit with the overall status of the human they're in. Doesn't seem to be doing well. So like
Like
maybe that'll
my
be
man's basically like
he's not doing well. He's dying, it feels like.
my man has ED.
He
He got
does. Yeah.
gonorrhea.
It sucks. I mean, even the first 2 episodes, the dude, the like big dude, I don't know what he worked in, but um, I remember the red blood cell was like introduced himself to him, and he was like, "Oh, in the video, you wanted to know everyone's name," and he was like, "Oh, that video is really old."
They still show that video. It's been like 20 years. Oh.
He's he said like, "Oh yeah, he's been eating a lot more, he's been drinking a lot more," and I was like, "Man, it sounds like a college student." I was like, "Oh, he's just going downhill."
Then they had the Viagra, and I'm like, my man's like in his 50s and 60s.
Yeah, yeah. And then I was like, he's probably an old guy, not living a good life. It feels like. Um,
Like, did he hit
yeah,
up like a
like
hooker or something? Was it his wife? I don't know, man.
yeah, we don't know.
Got
Or will we
gonorrhea.
ever know?
It's like, who knows?
I do like how they're kind of portraying the red blood cells, because I've never seen the first series. I do at some
Mhm.
point, but in this one, I know it's like cells that work black, so it's like, oh, it's like, what if you're in like a bad body or like an unhealthy body or whatever?
Mhm.
And I do like how they're kind of portraying that of everything is not okay, and like the other cells in the body are not happy with how things are being run because their body sucks. So like they're
It's
like
like
yelling
everyone
at
is
them.
awful. Everyone has a bad time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're gonna have a bad time.
Where like in classic Cells at Work, I think of everyone like smiling,
Hmm.
and like there's like some conflict. They're like, oh, there's like a virus coming in the body. Like they take it out real quick. But it's like, like, wow, look at that. That's so nice. Oh man, they all work together. So cool, so
And this
fun.
one, and this one, they're just mean. Like I think in the last episode, the other red blood cells like pushed our main dude out the way, and it was like,
Mhm.
why? Like you're just mean. There was no point to that. Like we're not in line for a prize. We're not in line for like corn dogs or something. Like we're all going to the same place.
These red blood cells here line up for corn dogs. It's like,
Like
get
what?
out of the way, dude. It's
Like
corn
what?
dog day. I can't have you taking my corn dog.
They only have a limited number.
Only 50 a day. I gotta be the first 50. You see, I'm 51. We can't have this.
It's like pretzel day in the office.
I'm gonna bring a pretzel day as well. Pretty good.
Um, I don't know something I was gonna say. The white blood cells though, they know how to like put their foot down and be like, all right, guys, we need to, we have swords. We are like, you should listen to us.
Their waifus in this one. In the first one, in OG, they're like husbandos.
Yeah, I feel like I remember seeing like
It's
the
like
art or whatever.
it's like in like the normal one, like they're pretty sure like the main white blood cells like voiced by like the main actor for Jotaro and like
Mm,
JoJo's. So he's like a really manly white blood cell.
mm.
I don't know who's the voice actress for the white blood cell in black, but
I have no idea. Um,
they're gonna bring
yeah.
in the T cells later. We get the T cells.
I'm excited.
Call in the T cells, and on their shirts it says "kill."
Ooh.
That's what episode 5 is gonna be. There's not really much to talk about. I mean, like it was just a nice fun thing. You know, you're like you can just watch and be like, yeah, that's an episode.
I like how they do the shading. How it's like lines. I think that's
Pretty
cool.
good. The art style's pretty good. It portrays, I guess, the body in a very different way. In a way that makes it somewhat easy to understand, you know?
I mean, it is like more flat. It does look like it was an educational cartoon or an educational like picture book or something. Where like it doesn't look bad, but it's not. I mean, it's not anything like like the modern anime we see, right? With the different shading and the lighting, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like the reflections, all
It's
things.
simplistic. It's nice, you know, simple.
Yeah.
Get you a little way.
I just need to know where it's going. You know, we're 4 episodes in. That's a third of the way through. Where
I don't know where we're going, honestly. To be honest, like this is where I stopped reading the manga, so like we're in for a new ride.
Okay, new stuff. So yeah, so let's just you just said there's nothing else. Let's get into
Let's get into the
Wonder
real
Egg.
heat.
Okay,
The real meat and potatoes.
Like I said, Stellar Work Black, probably like a solid 7 for me right now, right? 7 out of
Let me
10.
look up the Wonder Egg on Mal because I just need to know characters' names.
Yeah, you should do that. So Wonder Egg priority, okay. This is a show that, we went on a break for a while, right? And so like we didn't have the initial conversations of what anime we're gonna do. So like I do every season, I always look at what's coming up, right? And and this was one of the shows where I was just sitting here, going through all the different like trailers for all the anime or whatever for this season.
It just looked different, you know?
It just
like
looks so good.
it looked different. It looked good. It's made by Cloverworks, so like the animation's like a little, you know, you expect this level. But I didn't know what it was based on the trailers. I'll say that for certain.
Same. Yeah, because like what I got from the trailers, I was at first it portrays itself to be a slice of life. So like the first like 5 seconds.
With like supernatural elements, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then we get into supernatural. We get into like they're going to different dimensions or something. And just from the trailer, it's like I don't know what this is. Like, what are they messing around with? But
this show is on a deeper level than what the trailer would ever have you believe.
What I just like generally, right? I'm sure we'll get into to every episode, but generally, my comparison is this gave me a lot of Monogatari vibes.
Ooh.
Of like, it. I mean, actually, I'm liking it more because one of the things I didn't like about Monogatari was its like quirkiness to its storytelling. I was like,
I think that's like part of the charm of Monogatari, though. The point of Monogatari is the quirkiness, the over the topness, the extravagant, you know?
Right.
Like, each of it is like, portrayed like as wildly inaccurate as possible because that's just how it's just how he views the world.
Yeah. But yeah, that's just kind of reminded me of just because it was like basically she's helping people out, helping them with their problems. It's all like, I mean, it is physical, but a lot of it is mental. It's all like, oh, here's I had issues with this, or this is what I'm insecure about, or this is some thing that made me kill myself, which is just basically what this entire show is. And that's just what reminded me of like main character helping other characters out with their psychological issues. Maybe there's some, and then there's some overarching thing with her trying to help her friend, right?
Yeah, and like the thing is like we still don't know whether those characters that disappear, if they're even alive or if they're dead.
Right.
Or if they even exist.
So what I think, and I've tried to look at the comments, the forums, all that stuff, trying to figure stuff out. So I think people's main consensus is that the people that they're saving killed themselves. Every single person that they're saving was a victim of suicide. That's just how it is. And the people that they're saving are dead, and they are other people's like stone stone
Mm.
people. So you know how like Oto, main character's name, she
Oh
has
yeah.
her friend who is like turned to stone, and her friend killed herself, and so she's trying to do all this to save her friend. The other girl, the
They're
first
trying
girl
to save
she
her
met,
sister.
is trying to save her sister, who we
And
don't
then
know how
just
she
recently,
died.
the third girl's like trying to save like the fat person who like
Yeah,
kept going to her
who
concerts, and she said we can't be friends, but she's actually just lying to herself.
yeah, who killed herself. And there's also a fourth person that we met in the fourth episode.
We don't know what they're trying to do. Well,
Yeah,
obviously
we
they're
don't
gonna
know
save someone,
what their thing
but
is.
they don't know at least what they're going for with that.
But that is kind of the consensus, is that so, and what people are doing is they're like, okay, they're saving all these people. Those people are other people's dead people that they're trying to save. So it seems like maybe when you do this whole Wonder Egg thing, you're going around, have these eggs, cracking them open, eating breakfast, right? You have to kind of earn your way to saving your persons. So like you have to do enough of these eggs. You have to save enough of other people to have your person saved.
Mhm.
You know, that's kind of the theory, I guess. There's also some speculation of like, will we ever get to the point where we're saving some of our friends' people? Like will we ever get to the point where we are saving Kira's, number one fan or whatever?
Mhm.
Or Rika, not Kira. I mix up the letters.
Mhm.
Rika's number one fan. Um, they introduced in the third episode, I think, that we're actually able to go in together, even if it was accidentally. So I'm sure we'll see a
Yeah,
lot
like as
more of
long as
that.
like you're going together, but it's gonna be whoever's the world is going to be whoever's the one who's more mentally willing to
Stronger.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
One,
yeah,
and apparently that just shows that Rika's connection was stronger than Oto's. But I mean,
yeah. Um,
what you know.
trying to.
And then
So
like who was it? Like Naru came up
yeah,
with a really good quote for or line about Oto, where like not only is she trying to save like her friend, she's also trying to save herself.
herself. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Which is, I mean, it's true. I mean, the whole reason she wants her back is because, dude, that whole flashback was really sad. How her friend became her friend. You know,
Mhm.
it was like, oh,
It's like you're not my friend. Came home, followed her, and it's like be my friend.
yeah, be my friend, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, the whole reason you want your friend back is because you feel something for them. It's your friend.
Mhm.
That's how it works.
It's like apparently Oto was being bullied, but like we don't know what the real deal with Koito was. Looking
Yeah,
at now,
yeah.
not seeing it. Like we assume like it most likely was rape
Okay.
or
Yeah.
like some like sexual misconduct.
Do we know why she was being? Okay, well that makes sense. See, because my thoughts were I didn't really know. I just assumed that. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I I just assumed that her whole backstory, Oto's, was that she doesn't have any friends because what was it? People think she's ugly or something like that, right?
It's her multicolored eyes. Like I forgot it's called like
Oh yeah,
heterochromia.
yeah. It's some term.
Yeah.
And so no one wants to be her friend, so she's like an outcast. So
But like that's like whack though. Like kids are
yeah,
just
it's
bullies.
so
It's
stupid,
stupid. It's like,
so
dude, if
dumb.
I saw someone with two colored eyes, dude, you're like my best friend.
Immediately be your friend, like that's cool.
It's like you're dope as heck.
So
As long as it's
with
not an ugly
Koito,
color.
yeah,
Sorry, the joke had to be made. Alright.
but then with Koito being her friend, I always thought that people bullied her because
She was
she
friends
was
with her.
friends with Oto. That's just what I thought. But then I was like, they bullied her that much because we saw her picking up her clothes in the rain in the mud or something. And
Oh, and also like wasn't she like being bullied in the classroom as well? And like Oto was like in the locker trying to record it.
yes, which does go to your like some sort of sexual harassment or something. Yeah.
It's either bullying, but like the teacher was also like doing stuff with her, so like who knows like what's actually happening.
Yeah, there's something going on. I'm sure we'll learn it at some point, you know.
Mhm.
Especially since that seems like the natural conclusion of the show is, does she save Koito or not, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah, that
Like
was
the thing is like MC is becoming stronger. Oto, weak-willed at first.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, because, like, even in the first episode, I think the person she was trying to save said something about like her just not giving it her all, like just
Hmm.
go all in, and then she does, and she like runs off the building and like uses her keyblade to to kill the thing.
I find it interesting that like every time like she gets like a new tool in like every episode, like when she's fighting one,
Hmm.
something new and different.
I think it's always connected to the person she's saving too,
Hmm. Like she doesn't
because
have like
like
her uses. She keeps borrowing it from other people.
yeah, I know in the one fight who she was saving the like gymnast, she used like the ribbon
Yeah, she had the
thing.
baton, like they had ribbons. Then she had the pen, the multicolored pen.
Yeah, the multicolored pen. She used the like pen lights, the,
Hmm.
like glow stick things.
Like for like idol shows, yeah,
Hmm.
or like concerts, yeah.
What do you think? Because we haven't seen it yet. I'm sure we'll see it. No, I guess we've already did. The like new character, they kind of introduced them in a weird way of like they just introduced us to them fighting for the one girl on the train, and then like
Yeah,
it like spliced together.
yeah, like yeah, they kind of like they pushed those together, and like it was interesting how they did it. But yeah, like so she did like the one fight for like the girl who was like raped.
Hmm. Which was so whack. I was
Hmm.
like, man, people, yeah, it's like, oh well, he was my boss, my dad's boss, and so he got fired. And my mom was like, why couldn't you just put up with it? And I was like, that's crazy to say that to your child. Like, oh yeah, just deal with it. Wild.
It's like man, like Monogatari was crazy when they did that too, dude.
Yeah.
Monogatari, it's like your mom's like, do it, you won't. My mom's like, mom, no, mom's like, do it or like we like abandon you
Yeah.
and no one loves you. And
Hmm.
it's like, oh. The shows get dark, dude. Anime's like, it's with it.
It's pretty cool when it does though, because it's like, oh, this is like real stuff that's happening.
Wonder Egg feels pretty real, honestly, which is ridiculous. Like the characters are somewhat believable.
So with that, right, with like realism and like with like the characters and stuff, right? A big thing that I didn't get immediately. If you remember the end of the last episode, the fourth episode,
Hmm.
our new character introduces herself, and she says her last name, her like family name or whatever.
Hmm.
And Oto is like, "Wait, your last name is this?"
Hmm.
Like she was very confused, very shocked, and the episode ends.
Oh, I think that's like the teacher's name or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. So I didn't know that immediately. I was like,
Hmm.
why was she like? Was that like Koito's name and they're like related? No, it's like the counselor that comes to her house because she doesn't go to school. She
Hmm.
refuses. Yeah, so that's him. So I imagine that must be his like daughter or something. Maybe that'll play into like
Hmm.
why she's part of this group now. Because it is nice. They're like forming a little group.
Yeah, it's like like, and the thing is like where her like the last character got introduced, like Momoe. I'm
Yeah,
looking at that right now. Okay.
yeah.
Um, the dynamic with her is that like, I guess she's like like stereotypically looked at as a boy.
Hmm.
So like she's looked at as like a tomboy, but I guess she like wants to be like seen as more like a woman.
Hmm.
That's her thing. So she got really upset when like Rika and like Neru were like doing their thing, and said there could be boys here too and all that stuff. But
Yeah,
then I guess when like Oto like immediately looks at her, she's like, "Oh, you're like a really pretty girl."
yeah. She's like really so nice.
It's like like she just wanted someone to like look at her that way,
Hmm.
see her for what she is. It's like even like when she was like doing the fight, like in her episode, like she was looked at as like more of like a gentleman or like a knight on a like on a horse. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah, White
Trying to
Knight.
come and save.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a prince. You know what I mean?
I mean, both of his eggs like fell in love with her. Both
Hmm.
of them. When he was like, "Oh, because you're a boy, and so I love you," and she was just like, it's not exactly.
Like, so she doesn't want to be seen as like this prince or whatever.
Mhm.
Like let's say like a princess. That's like the best way to put it, I guess.
Yeah,
It's like
just wants to help out, you know?
Mhm,
I mean, and yeah, like you said earlier, we don't even know what her thing is yet. I mean, we know what the other
mhm,
3 characters, what they're trying to do and save and whatever, but
mhm.
I mean, I'm sure maybe next episode will.
Well, we'll get into it. The show's taking its time and it's doing it well.
Yeah.
Like, even like the tiny things about the characters that they show, like when Rika first meets up with like Neru and Oto, like together, in, like the hospital. You can already see how all their attitudes are. Like Neru is like more of a controlling character, like wanting things to be done at her pace. But then
Mhm.
you have Rika who does things on her own whim. Like
Mhm.
the idea of her like taking all the fruit.
She's a wild card. She just kinda does
Mhm,
whatever.
mhm. And then like she has her own demons. I mean, she cuts, so it's like,
Yeah, she does. She's
mhm.
like she's like, "Oh, your wounds aren't healing," and she's like, "Ah, no, that's old. Don't worry
And we
about
saw them
that."
when she went in the bath. It's like I'm not doing it today.
Mhm.
It's like wow. It's like,
Which is kind of a, like, typical character type, right? Where it's like, "Oh,
mhm,
I'm, like, really loud and boisterous, and I just kinda do whatever, but deep down, have a
mhm,
lot of stuff going on." You know?
mhm. As expected, of course, as someone who's like a part of like saving like someone who they've lost and loved, taking their time to do that instead of live out their life and move past the grief.
Do you think that's why her group disbanded? Because she just couldn't take it anymore? Like, she didn't wanna be
It's
that
a
anymore?
possibility. She's talking big, honestly. Who knows?
Yeah. I also like the like, the video game aspect they're kinda putting in here where, Oto and Neru were talking, and they were like, "Yeah, it's doing this stuff really puts a strain on your body." And then, like, we see Neru doing, like, crazy flips, and then Oto,
It's like I got
me
abs.
yeah, it's like, I think I have a six-pack now, and it's like it's weird. They're like like, the training translates to like, out of the world, but it's, like, supercharged, you know?
Mhm.
Thought that was funny.
It's like it actually makes me wonder if like what happens if it like turns out to be larger than this. Like they become like their own worlds, or maybe they leak out into the real world.
Yeah, I mean, another thing is those 2 people playing backgammon,
Yeah,
or puppet, like,
they're
we don't know
having a
what
fun
those
time.
are.
Yeah,
We don't know who those are, like, are those, like, gods, you know?
they just run the egg place, I guess, or they just there. They just know what's happening.
But then, yeah, like, what is the egg place? Like,
Mhm.
how, like, exactly what you
There's
said, like,
bigger questions here. It's
yeah. Which again, we're only a third of the way through, so I don't think we would have expected to have answers to those
Mhm.
yet. Probably like episode 7, 8-ish, we'll
Is
probably
this like
start
a?
really.
Let me look into this right now. Is this like an anime only?
Oh yeah, I don't know. Most likely not, but it's possible. Because most.
Original.
Oh, it is really. That's cool.
I wonder if this actually is going to potentially get a second season because this
That
is
is
like.
that is really it's always really spicy, when it's an original. So it's like,
Mhm.
ooh, anything could happen. you
So
know.
this is such a fresh take though. It's like I was like honestly like you, I was like hoping for like a slice of life maybe potentially, but to get something that's like more drama focused is pretty good for once.
Have you ever watched Death Parade?
I have watched all of Death Parade.
So I watched that recently, not like super recently,
Mhm.
maybe like the past year,
Okay,
and that was cool because that's based
wasn't
on a
Death Parade a nice
manga.
ride?
Yeah, that's based on a manga, but I think the manga was like a one shot.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like,
It was based on Death Billiards, I believe. It was like the manga one shot.
yeah,
Mhm.
I enjoyed that for the most part. The only reason it didn't get like a super high score in my mind, like a 9 or a 10 even,
I
is
thought it should have got a
because
second season.
I think it should get a second season as well. Because they didn't mess around with the overworld stuff too much. Like, there's like gods playing with
No, no, no. I
reality.
understand. I know what you're saying, dude. They like hint at it, and like you only
Yeah,
see glimpses of it. And like they in the last episode they go a little more into detail with everything. But there's
yeah,
so much mysteries that are left there that I'm like I just want a second season just to see what the answer would
exactly.
be,
Just for that. Like I want to
just
know
for
like,
the answers alone. Like,
the whole bar game thing, with like playing darts and then,
it's interesting. It was a nice concept. The first
yeah,
episode kind of
it
quote
just
unquote
being
ruins the gimmick, but the gimmick is still fresh every time they do something.
yeah, like it's fun. Like it's I like I would have been fine if they cut away most of the God stuff and just made it an anthology, because that way I would have never known about the God stuff and I would have never been interested in anything like
But
that.
it's that you gotta taste that world building right there.
Exactly. So
That's where it went wrong.
because yeah, exactly because they added world building stuff, but they didn't go all the way with it. It's like, oh, you should have just never had it in there, you know?
It's like the Rayman world building. You gotta taste of that sick world building, that nice world building. You're like, I need more.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know.
I understand. I have the same gripe with Death Parade. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's a great show, great series. The episodes were nice. Some interesting characters. I love the doll guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's fun, and then his girl was very interesting too. I think
Yep.
she went straight to hell. I think is what she did. Um,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
but it was like, the crazy dynamics between the characters. It was fun, interesting. Um, it
And
was a
like
blast.
there was the mystery part of it too, where it's like as they're playing the game, it's like judgment, right? Where they're like, oh,
Mhm.
you're gonna go up or down, you know? And it was cool to hear their story and like as they're kind of breaking it down, and then at the end you realize, oh, they're a terrible person, you know?
Remember the darts game, dude? The
Yes,
darts game is one of my favorite ones, and
yes,
it's
it was
because
so
like the
good.
wife is such a terrible person,
Such a savage.
and you're like the husband's gonna go to hell. He's trying to kill his wife right now.
Yep.
No, he went to heaven. He's been a good boy. He's done everything he could. His wife's done everything wrong. Cheated with him, had another man's baby,
Yeah,
didn't
it
tell
was
him,
every minute of that was crazy because it was like,
and you were like rooting for the wife though. She's like, I'm pregnant.
yeah. Because it was like, it was pregnant, and I was like, whose is it? And I was like, oh, I cheated. Like exactly what you said, like every step along the way, you just get closer and closer to falling for the husband. And it's like, oh no, this is completely wrong.
And like
Wild.
she went to hell, he went to heaven. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was such a great episode. The darts one is so good.
Yeah, really
And then I
good.
think there's the one with like the two murderers. I think
Okay. I'll be honest, the only one I vividly remember is the darts one. I don't
the
remember any of
darts
the other
one's pretty.
games.
I think the two murderers. I think it was I think it was the billiards episode.
Okay.
Where like one of them was like stabbed, I think, and the other one was like a killer.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Oh no, it wasn't like the guy wasn't the murderer. It was like a guy who cheated, I think,
Mm,
and like his
classic.
girlfriend like stabbed him in the chest, and he died.
Wow.
And then like the other
Mm,
one was just like a murderer, dude. And then like Deckham was like, "We got to stop this right now." He pulled out his strings and he was like, "Nope, nope, not today."
mhm.
I don't remember much. And, like you're right. There's another mystery element too with like the girl, where like we're trying to figure out what her
Yeah.
backstory is, and like she's like into skating and all that stuff, and it's it's nice.
Yeah, right, because she was like a human or something, and it was like, oh, you're not supposed to bring humans into this world. But it's like, is she really? Like, she like this other thing that, was a whole nonsense.
It's like her judgment was actually watching everyone else's judgment and being judged afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, because like
And then
on the
same with the other
surface
girl
level,
from like the other guy. So it's like,
yeah, because on the surface level, weren't they just supposed to be like in training? Like, oh, you're gonna own your own bar and you're gonna judge people at some point.
yeah,
But then there's like a million layers underneath that.
hmm
Yeah, right.
yeah,
For
that was good.
you talked about how like you want this to get a second season. I did want to talk about that a little bit, okay? Because
I
you
don't
know,
think there's
I
enough in here to like fit a full season, but like I could be wrong.
well,
I feel like there's too much in here, is what I'm saying.
oh, 100%, yeah. I wanted to talk about second seasons in general because that's like a whole thing in anime, right? That's like it's been a whole thing since pretty much the inception of like, oh, good anime never gets second season. I mean,
We can
there's like
talk about that now because there was one. I know we talked about it, but we didn't get to talk about it because we didn't record last week.
right.
That got announced recently.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. This was all spawned from Devil's a part-timer getting a second season. Okay, so
This has been a meme in the anime community.
exactly. Oh,
It's
some
up there with No
document.
Game No Life. You know,
Yes, yeah, because like I said, second season, um, that and No Game No Life are pretty much the two memes of like whenever people are clamoring for a second season of their favorite show,
it used to
someone
be Attack
always
on Titan, but Attack on Titan went hard after that.
it did. It was like, oh, you want a second season? We'll give you 4 more seasons.
We're gonna end it all. Next
Yeah,
month's the last chapter. It's all over, baby. Attack on Titan's ending. People
it
didn't
is.
think it
Yeah,
would happen, but did.
It did, yeah. Um, yeah. So I got a second season after 8 years, and there is some interesting things with this. Of course, have you ever seen Devil's a Part-Timer? Ray? You watched it?
I've watched it, dude. Great
Okay,
show,
good,
by the
good.
way. Loved it. And
I'm pretty sure you.
I know I've read the manga up to a certain point because the
Yeah,
manga
yeah.
continues it, and I know the light novels go farther, but I'm not desperate enough to go read the light novels.
I almost was. I downloaded them on my computer at one point. Never read them though. I was close. Um, Devil's a Part-Timer, of course, is just it's like a comedy show. It to me is like one of the first isekai to
It's the
like
reverse isekai, which is
exactly.
bold.
To me, I think it was like one of the first ones to do that, where it was like, oh, we're gonna do isekai, but we're gonna change it. We're gonna do something different, to where it's like, oh,
Take a magical world and bring them here,
exactly, yeah. And it was really
which is
good.
nice.
People really enjoyed it generally. And another one was like, man, second season would be great. Never happened though. I finally got one, so there are some things about this, Ray. Okay,
Boy, we are having a blast. The anime community was like, it's time.
exactly.
It has come. Next up is No Game No Life,
Yeah, which will
which who
probably.
knows, it may or may not happen because they did the movie route, and that's like
So my
Konosuba did the movie route too. So
did, yeah. So I have a few things for you, Ray. One of them is exactly like you said. People are like, all right, now we need this, we need this, we need this. Do you think this is kind of the tipping point for like the industry as a whole, where it's like we've already seen in recent years that things have gotten second seasons? I mean, like Goblin Slayer is announced. You know, Shield Hero got one. Slime reincarnated as a slime
Slimes
got
has it
one.
right now. I mean, it's like
Dragon Maid is getting one. Like I I feel like over the past few years we've been getting more and more second seasons of things. But with that
the
was a
thing is like
part timer,
most times
that's
like
like
they're at
huge.
you know
What happened?
most times they're like really wanted adaptations. Devil's a Part Timer is great because it's a spin on the genre, and it was a spin no one really expected.
Mm-hmm.
Like so, it spins the isekai genre. You have your action, you have your comedy, you have the romance. You know,
It's all there.
it's a nice blend show. You get everything. You know, it's comparable to Konosuba in that aspect,
Yeah.
where like you get a blended show where you can get a lot of things from. It's like Konosuba does lend itself more to like I guess the lewd type of humor.
But it's like really self-aware in it.
hmm But like they know what they're doing. These are well crafted pieces of work. Meant to articulate what they're asking for. It's like you want fight scenes, we give you cool fight scenes. You want comedy, we have great comedy, slapstick, build up jokes over time. You know, things of that nature. Like I forgot that was a part timer had like the really based idea of having like the one angel like be like a shut in,
Yeah.
and then having that idea come back and like some like Gabriel dropout like years later.
They also did it in Dragon Maid too.
Yeah,
Like the one
with like
powerful
Fafnir.
dragon.
Yeah,
Yeah. You're just like,
it's
dude,
like
I gotta play Dark Souls.
it's like like you're like some of the strongest beings are just like chilling and vibing and like doing nothing. And like why? It's fun.
So my hope for this is that, because, like you said, people are like, oh, we need No Game No Life. We need a bunch of these other shows to get second season. My hope is that I've never, I don't know of any other examples of something like this happening, where it's like a studio decided to dig up one of its old shows and be like, you know what, we'll give you a second season of that.
You've all been asking for years. We'll do it now. I don't. This is you're right. This is unanticipated, first of its kind. Um, to come. The only thing I would have been more excited for, in all honesty, would have been Act Age if it wasn't ruined. And
Right. That's a slightly different scenario, but
yeah,
yeah, I completely agree.
it's like this is a new staple now. At this point, when this is like, and you can't even say this. You can say this at cash grab potentially, but
Could be.
you're gonna watch it anyway.
Oh, 100%. See, because my hope is that, I mean, first of all, I really hope it's good. I hope that they're faithful. I hope that they, but since this is kind of like a first of its kind, I hope that this does well. It's really good. And other studios start to be like, oh, this works. Like, fans aren't just saying they want a second season of something just because they want to say it. Like they'll actually watch it and support it. So hopefully other studios will be like, okay, maybe we'll do that too. Maybe we'll, listen to the fans and be like, we'll give you a second season of this. Obviously the biggest one being No Game No Life, but there's a ton of other shows out there that only have one season. So it's like hopefully they hopefully they look at this as like,
It's like you brought it up, I think, like a couple weeks ago, where you said Land of Lustrous. People are like, "When's season 2 coming out?" Let
right.
them work on Beastars, please.
I agree. Yeah. Which
You know they're
Beastars
gonna come out
ends.
with a second season
Yeah,
if
I
they're
mean they
allowed to.
have, there's no reason why they gave, like, listen, Beastars is great. I love Beastars. It's like a 9 for me, maybe higher than that. Like I love it, but there's no reason Beastars should get more than one season, and Land of the Lustrous does not. There's no reason for that.
The only way to say that it may not would be if the obviously the author's like, I don't want it, which is like the only thing,
Which I don't think he feels that way.
It's like Land of Lustrous may be one of the one of the greats, right? Like newer manga quotation marks, by the way. It's like we already brought up things before, like Fire Punch, like things that are like and then Act Age, of course, back in the day, a couple years ago, like really like writing it up, making it different. Land of Lustrous is also up there, like it's a different type.
It's just one of those that you read or you watch depending on what it is, and you just even way before you finish it, like you're in the middle of it, you're in the first third of it, and you're like, this is different.
It's exciting, it's new,
yeah,
it's fresh,
or
and
is,
it makes you think. It's like
exactly all those examples you brought up with Fire Punch and Act Age. Those were two other ones where I was reading them, and I was like,
this is different.
like,
It's fresh.
yeah,
You're
I just really like this. Like the way they're doing it is really good, and it doesn't feel like anything I've read before.
I gotta get you to do Blue Period. Blue Period's also good too.
I have actually
in that same regard.
I have actually the past couple of days I've been like, you know what? I should start reading manga again. So I'm gonna start.
Blue Period's on there as well. It's similar to Act Age, where it's talking about, I guess, like art student.
Okay.
And how he's trying to like get into like the best art school in Japan, and how he does it.
I would like to. I've never finished Act Age. Since the once it stopped, I was like, okay, whatever. But
I guess you could finish it. I mean, it's like
only
a couple chapters more.
I would like to finish it just so we can talk about it on here and like maybe just kind of reminisce about it and also talk about what could have been, because I think that could be cool.
Again, my man just had to do one thing: just not touch little girls. It's a very simple thing.
It's so simple. It's so easy.
It's so simple. If you had that problem, you could have went to like a psychiatrist or something. Like, counseling, whatnot. I don't know about your life, dude.
And like,
my man he literally boasted about buying a bike in Shonen Jump and says, I love my new hobby, biking in the morning. And he left the part out where he was touching girls when he was doing it. But
conveniently, see, there are theories. I don't know if theories is the right word. There are arguments to be made that it's like people like that didn't choose to do things like that. That it's like a sickness in their mind, right? There's like something wrong with them, and
but like you know it's wrong though.
Exactly. Like I feel like you should seek help with that. It's not irredeemable to do things like that. I mean, it's gonna take a lot, but as long as you seek help and you're like, I recognize this is wrong. It's the same thing of like, it's not the same thing, but it's similar to like being an alcoholic or something, where it's like people don't want to be around you at some point. You have to fix up your life, or it's just gonna go downhill. So you recognize that, you go seek help, you fix it, that kind of deal. But when you get caught doing it and you didn't, you haven't taken steps, it's rough. It's rough, and then we get things like Act Age, which could have gone down as one of the greatest manga
of all time,
of our recent time. And
it literally was slated, I think, in my opinion, to be like one of the redefining manga of like the shonen genre. redefining drama, redefining like character arcs.
It was just about to get an anime. Like you
You
introduced
were
this
on
to me.
first of all, you were on like the platform to success. You were riding it.
It was carved for you. All you had to do was walk. All you had to do was walk
And you
through it.
took a turn. You took a turn.
Your check engine light came on, and it just,
You were on this nice like brick road they made for you. Like, if you just kept doing what you were doing, you'd be on the path to success, relatively speaking. Notoriously made author. I mean, at least the artist. Congrats to her. She's doing a fantastic job.
yeah.
I'll
She
say.
she recently got a job doing another manga, didn't she? Or like
Yeah,
didn't she sign with like Shonen Jump or something?
yeah. She signed. Yeah, so she's slated. Whenever like there's an author who's gonna be looking for an artist, she's up there
Yeah.
for grabs.
Which, we talk about the writing was really good. The art was good too.
The art was fantastic.
Yeah, it perfectly matched
The
it.
perfect pair. The work between that to
So
like
good.
it's so it hurts every time I talk about acting because it's like to be able to articulate like what the guy was trying to say, like this is the script, that's what we're doing, and to like make it work, and like she's the one like putting the characters, like making them look like what he wants them to,
Yeah.
drawing this. Like, she has the most important thing, setting the scene, you know, and everything. Like he's just writing the script, but like the script is so good too that it's like, what are you doing? Tag team
Um,
duo.
and yeah, I mean, just to attest to how good it was, like you're the one who introduced me to it, right? And I feel like every week that we talked about it, I was just like, this shouldn't be good. Like I don't care at all about acting, the inner workings. I don't care at all about this, but just the story itself and like just everything, the characters, like how they react to each other, the way they break it down, like her mindset when it comes to acting.
I feel like a lot of people review bombed Act Age after that, but I feel like you don't deserve that. You don't review bomb it out of anger.
Yeah, I feel like at that point the deed is done. Like
Mhm. Like,
it's kind of similar to Cyberpunk, right? Cyberpunk is a video game that was super, like probably the most hyped up game of all time. Came out, it wasn't great, lot of bugs, everything like that, right? But even if you give it a 20 on Metacritic, right, which is very bad, 20 out of 100 is very, very bad. They still sold like 100 billion copies.
mhm.
You know what I mean? So it's like at that point, does your review about me do anything? You know,
It's like,
like they already
like,
recouped it times 10.
yeah. It's like,
The same thing with Act Age, where it's like, yes, I don't think until he gets help and a lot of whatever he needs to re-enter the industry, he shouldn't be able to. But bombing Act Age doesn't hurt him in any way, I don't think.
no,
It's already,
it's just you're hurting Shonen Jump. You're hurting their
yeah.
numbers. You know what I mean?
With Shonen Jump, I mean, like, is doing pretty good with their stories, their main stories. I know like Chainsaw Man is something that I want to read very much.
We both are like Chainsaw Man because it's made by the same guy who made Fire Punch.
Yeah. It's
So
also
like
getting an anime.
it is getting an anime, and when the anime comes out, it's gonna be mainstream. So you better like
Oh yeah.
hop on it now.
Yeah, I gotta hop on it before. Yeah, man.
It's like like what was it like what came out, Jujutsu Kaisen? I should have hopped on it before it hit mainstream.
Yeah,
I
I
was
know.
I was like gotta read the manga before it mainstream. It went mainstream, and I'm like, god damn it, now I gotta hop on it
See, because
afterwards.
now at
People are
this
gonna call
point,
me a
like,
poser.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because at this
It's
point,
like
like,
it's
the anime is on my list, but now that like everyone loves it, I'm just like, I'll get to it later.
it's like just the pain of like being like like both in the manga, like when you put like good manga and you're like, I know you know this pain now. You put on like your read list, and then the anime comes out now, and you're like, damn, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough because it's like there's kind of two scenarios with that. There's the one where you've read it and then the anime comes out and you're like, do I watch the anime? Like, I don't know. Like, with like things that are with fight scenes, it's like
Mhm.
maybe I should to see like the fluidity of things. But then there's the other one where it's like, I haven't read this thing and then it gets an anime and I'm like, do I pick? Because like, would the anime get more than one season? Should I invest in one thing that isn't guaranteed? You know?
Well, I'll tell you definitely with Promise Neverland, that choice was made very clearly from the start. Season 2.
Yeah. So why don't I want to talk to you a little bit about that. I don't have a lot to say, right? I caught up to episode 8. You already know my feelings about that.
Mhm.
Um, it started off kind of good, and now it's just like whatever. It's one of those shows that you told me about, like, oh, they skipped the best arc. Everyone hates it. I see
Look,
headlines all the time about
skip the second best arc. Best arc is still the first arc.
yeah, the second best. Oh, I right, I didn't get a chance to talk to you. Um, I made the comparison with this to Maze Runner. Okay, I haven't read the books, so I don't, I can't judge those. But you and me, how many? There's 3 Maze Runner movies, right? How many of those
Oh,
have you
actually,
seen?
I actually read Maze Runner.
Oh,
I've
you read
watched
them.
the
Okay,
first.
so
I've watched the
it
first
doesn't even
three.
matter.
I've read the books.
Okay,
Let
so
me tell you how stupid the books were at the end. I hate them.
so
I thought the second book was alright. The third book was like, what's happening here?
sure, and I mean, that's fine because I feel the same way about the movies too. So we might actually be able to do this.
Mhm.
Um, this is comparable to Promise Neverland in the way that the first season of Promise Neverland really good, right? Because the
It's
whole
a
thing,
banger.
it's small, it's them being in the orphanage, and then having this twist of like, oh, there's some weird things going on. Let's try to investigate those. This is weird. The mom is weird. Where do people go? Them getting into the house, the inner, the rooms or whatever. And then it gets to the point where they're like, okay, we got to escape. Right. Here's a big thing. We got to escape. Now we know what's
Mhm.
going on. We don't want to die. Let's get out of here. Same thing with the first Maze Runner movie. Maze
They're
Runner
so
1
good.
is so good because it's like, what's up with this maze?
It actually was like it wasn't a. I think it was a decent adaptation. I'm not sure if it was 100% faithful, but
Sure.
like
Yeah.
it was pretty good. And I had no complaints there because it got the gist across. You know, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what's going on with this maze? There's obviously people running it because we get supplies every like month or something
Mhm.
to not
Like
die.
someone who is intelligent is running
And
this.
then there's a turning point where they realize what's happening and they got to escape, right? Same thing. And it continues with season 2 of Promise Neverland where it's like, okay, it's like really open now and like they don't really have a goal. Like
And
it's
that's the
kind of,
Scorch Trials. Oh my gosh.
yeah, it's the same thing where with Maze Runner, it's like, oh, they made it out. So now they're just gonna fight the whole world, like the government, like that's what they're doing now. Same thing with Promise Neverland, where it's like, so we're just fighting all demons. We're gonna eradicate all demons now. That's where we're going. It just doesn't. It's just a huge step. That I just don't care about. Like okay, we're killing all demons now. We're just gonna somehow do that.
That's why second season should have just been Goldie Pond, dude. Manga readers would know. Second season should have just been Goldie Pond. It would have been. Everyone would have loved it. You wouldn't have got any complaints. This could have been season 3, except they would have been older.
I think there are better ways to do this. You know, I'm not mad at them wanting to eradicate all demons. I think that there's an argument to be made there that, because like Emma's like, oh, we don't have to kill all of them. There's regular ones, and then there's also the way to make them not eat humans, and like sure, I see the argument, but
Ray
like,
be like,
yeah, like no, we gotta do it.
ice him.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's fine, I guess. I'll finish it almost all the way there.
Jobless reincarnation. I'll talk about the most recent episode that I watched. They got into a desert, and it was the first episode where I don't remember anything super perverted happening.
Nice.
It was a breath of fresh air. I enjoyed it. They went to blue hair girl's village. The blue hair girl was his teacher. Her name was Roxy, but he stole her panties in one of the
Oh,
episodes.
nice,
So,
classic.
but like they went to her village, and turns out she's like 100+ years old or whatever. But it's like
That is always how it is, though, right?
how it be though, and like her mom's like 200 something or something like that. She's like, "Oh, stop it, you! Can't say I'm beautiful. I'm like way older than you." And like there's like this demon guy who's like the most feared demon though, because like it's like the most feared demons apparently have like this red jewel in their head, but it's actually just a third eye.
Ah,
Because
the
they're
Mind
like,
Stone.
that's crazy, dude. But like he's like trying to make their reputation good again. He's like, listen, there was a war, but we were being brain controlled, so I'm trying to like fix our reputation now, so people don't fear us. So don't be scared. I'm a nice guy, because he saved them. So he's trying to return them now to the kingdom. Um, and I was like, yeah, that's a nice episode, nice and sweet.
What are your general thoughts on the show, Ray? Like,
I,
are you
I
enjoying
told
it?
you,
Is it
I got like this 50-50 flip, dude. Like every
50-50?
time like there's like this world building and like crazy stuff happening, I'm like, that's so dope, that's cool. Then there's like the 50 flip when like he's being a pervert, and I'm like, I goddamn hate this show.
Mm,
Cause like it's like a 40-year-old man instead of like a 7-year-old's body. I don't know what to say.
right, yeah, I do remember that being the premise,
And
yeah.
like it's either like he's bordering on pedophilia or he's like doing perverted things to other women in the show. And it's like
And guess what? Neither of them are good, you
none
know?
of them are good. I'm like, I'll say this, like at least his dad in the show is funny as comedic relief whenever he does stuff like that. Because his dad canonically, because he's like 7,
Mhm.
is like this like really big warrior or whatever. He was like a knight, but like he's also a pervert. But like it's funny when he does it because it's like you know, it's a gag. You know, he's his 20s, you know, you know, or like his 30s, you know what I mean?
Mm.
So my man's like in his 30s, he's like a knight, and he's like, yeah, man, I was a playboy when I was younger. My man was like a 40-year-old like incel,
Such a liar.
and now he's like living out his like fantasies like a 7-year-old kid. I mean, it's a
And that,
big difference in my head. I mean, who knows? Because again, like the guy's dad in like the world is like 30, and he was like a playboy when he was younger. So it's like, okay, I don't know. I can't really say anything about that. It's like, okay, my man, like, you know, was it like having fun when he was younger? Okay,
mhm.
like you're just doing it because like you're like trying to like get in bed with like some other 7-year-old kid. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, it's
So you're also 7, but like mentally like you're 40. So stop.
but like mentally, mentally, you know this is wrong. Um, so Ray, real quick, have you ever? I don't know if I talked to you about this, Ray. Have you ever watched Queen's Gambit? Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know what Queen's Gambit is?
I think I heard of it.
Chess show.
Oh no, yeah, I heard of it. No, I haven't watched it. Thank
Okay,
you for
you
when you said chess show, I know exactly what it is now.
you
Okay.
should watch it. That's all I have to say. If at some point you do watch it, I would like to talk to you about it.
I have been watching more chess recently. Chess content.
You've been watching more chess. Can you explain to me what that means?
Well, chess content. So I watch like chess. It's kind of weird to say I watch chess for entertainment because it's like, wow, you watch chess for entertainment?
Are you
Yes,
watching
I watch
people
chess for
play
entertainment.
chess? Or are you watching chess documentaries?
People play chess.
Okay.
Like, I'm not sure if you actually heard about like last year on Twitch. I think like chess like got really big
I
on
I
Twitch.
have seen some people playing chess on Twitch.
Like last year, it like spiked up really hard. It had to do with like Hikaru and like a bunch of other people doing like Twitch chess rivals and like bringing chess, like having it be big. And like there's like chess drama and all that stuff, which is like I don't want to go into that because it's like so like you have to be so deep for there to be chess drama, and I don't even want to like go and understand that. But like there's like different chess creators and whatnot, and like they all have like their own things or like their own circles.
Mhm.
Like most of them are okay, but like Hikaru was like one of, like the grand masters, and he was big on Twitch for a while. I mean, he's probably like still the biggest chess player there, but like you know, it's like other people watch, and I mean like, let's see, for chess, content, I got I've been watching Northern Lion because he's been my guy. I know you know Northern Lion.
Yeah. Oh, I do
He's
actually. Yeah.
he is my guy. Yeah, I watch him all the time. He does upload chess content, but he's funny when he does it because he's just like he's like an above average player, you know, like better than most people at chess. He's like running like 2100 elo, probably better than me. But like it's funny because he does stuff and he's like, "You want to get weird? Let's get weird." It's like we'll just sack this. He's like, "We're trading pieces." Like, oh, I guess we're just gonna have this type of game today.
I don't know why you just said that, and I imagined it, and it was really funny. Like,
It's
all right, we're doing this.
like, well, let's get weird. It's like we want to get weird. Let's get weird. It's like sack this piece here. It's like you know, it's fun. Like you know, watching. I mean, like he's trying to get better. You know, like at first he started playing Twitch. He's like I used to play chess when I was younger. You know, went to tournaments and all that stuff. I stopped ever since like you know, obviously he got older. He's doing it now. But like I thought it was you know he's trying to grab it real quick for the cash because I'm like he does like a bunch. He started doing variety stuff and stuff like what he normally does. He has like a bunch of different games he plays now and he like rotates.
Yeah, you showed me a clip of his where he was playing Binding of Isaac.
That's his game. He plays Binding of Isaac. It's like the one series that stayed up through the time. Like it's what blew him up on YouTube. All he does is play Binding of Isaac, and everyone knows him for Binding of Isaac. every day there's a Binding of Isaac video that you'll see like coming out from his channel. He uploads like 3 or 4 times a day, and every day it's a Binding of Isaac video you'll get. One Binding of Isaac video a day. He's uploaded for years.
Crazy.
Like that's his thing, right? So like I thought like okay, he's gonna grab chess real quick for like the money, it's because it's big on Twitch, whatnot, And then Queen's Gambit just came out, But like no, he's keeping up with it. He's learning. He's practicing. He's improving, and I'm like, he's genuinely just wants to play chess. So I
Chess
watched
is
that.
fun. It's a fun
And
game.
I think I'm pretty bad at chess, honestly, in comparison to like actual people who play chess.
I feel like I used to be better. I haven't played in a while though.
I could say the same thing about me too. Where it's like I feel like we talked about something where like when we were younger we were like beasts, right? That's like
Yeah,
the thing.
beasts.
It's like we both kind of went to like we were like top of like these like district or whatever.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I'm not sure if we went past that.
Mm. Nah, I didn't.
It was, like, we didn't go past that. We like went like we were like pretty highly rated in district, and they're like that's it. It's like oh, you
I didn't really like doing tournaments anyway. Like it was like a lot of stress. I was just like I just want to play chess with people,
I don't even remember like the tournaments that well though. It's like I remember like they had like a fancy name card. Remember it was
Oh
like a
yeah,
fancy name card?
Mm.
They made them look all fancy. It's like what? It's like I just remember like some things, and it's like. Well, I think I remember I get like 3rd place. Was like what I did. I got like 3rd place in the district, and I was like, "Oh, that's good."
Nice.
But it was bracketed 3rd though.
Okay.
Like I forgot how many brackets, like 5 or 6 brackets or whatever. It's like how much people did you have to beat? I think 2 or 3.
You should definitely watch Queen's Gambit though. Like it's only one season and it's one of my favorite shows ever.
I'll have to watch it.
It's so good.
I do plan to watch it, is what I should say. It's on my list. So if you ever do, if you're saying to watch it right now, you're saying that and what else? I should go do. I think there's one more you said earlier. Make a note of it.
Let's see. What did we talk about? I don't know if there's another thing. I think that was it.
Queen's Gambit. Was it something like superhero related?
No. I mean,
Oh yeah, we're gonna watch the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah, I did mention the Boys spinoff, but that's not happening yet.
Yeah, no, those
Oh,
are the
that's
2
what
that
you
were. I'll keep an eye. Queen's Gambit, Falcon, Winter Soldier.
When do you have to? You have a hard out today, right, Ray?
I do have a harder out today.
Do you know
I'll
when
say
that
we got
is?
about like maybe like 30 minutes more.
Okay. So I do have a bunch of other stuff, but I don't know if any of them will take a long time. So I just kind of want to throw them at you, and we'll talk about it as we will. Some stuff that I think might interest you, Ray. So there was some people dug up, right? Me and you, I'm not caught up. I do want to catch up though. Like I said, I'm gonna start reading manga again. Spy Family. Okay, another one you showed me.
I'm not caught up on Spy Family right now.
Okay.
I'm not caught up. I'm just saying that so at least everyone knows I'm not caught up on Spy Family.
Spy Family, really good. It's a manga about spy and assassin who have a what is it?
Adopted Esper child.
Yeah, Esper. That's the word. Really good. Everyone should read it. Really good. There's a Twitter account that just got verified like a few weeks ago. That's like Spy X Family English or something like that. And so people are going nuts because they're like, this kind of thing only happens when a manga or when an anime is about to be announced. Because it's happened before with other manga where like there's now social media accounts for them. So that's what people are theorizing. I just wanted to let you know, if you haven't heard that, Ray, we may be getting a Spy Family anime sometime soon, which I think would be cool because Spy Family, really good show, or really good manga, I mean. And I think it would be nice for those filthy anime watchers, to finally get into the story. It's good, another one similar to that. We have another one similar to that, Ray, which is something I haven't read, but I think you have read, which is The Way of the Husband, I think. Which is like
Way of House Husband.
Way of House, yeah. Um, that literally like a week ago just got announced they're doing an anime. So,
I'm
so
so happy.
wanted to see if you knew about that, what your thoughts were.
I did hear about it. Yes, it's so good.
Um, the one thing, did you watch the trailer, Ray?
I did not watch the trailer.
So,
Close enough.
I don't want to like sway you one way or the other, but people, myself included, are a little hesitant about this show. So I haven't read the manga, so I don't care about the content at all. That's not what I'm looking at here.
Was anything to do with the voices or the animation?
The animation, right? It's very limited. Like it's very limited. I mean, obviously it doesn't have to look like movie quality, but it's like some of the other shows you've seen that almost look like puppets, where like they don't always move, but they like move,
Oh no, I see what you're saying right now. Okay.
and like people, myself included, are kind of wary of it. Where it's like, again, I haven't read the manga, so I
Where you're
don't.
like, maybe it seems like a lazy adaptation.
Right, and so like I said, I haven't read it, so I don't know if that style they'd be able to bring out the best of the manga with that. If
It
that
kind of like,
works.
I mean, like, it does work, is what I'll say. But like, personally, I would have preferred something more extravagant. Like, I'm talking like
Okay.
Hinamata levels.
Sure, yeah.
That was what I would expect for this show.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because, like I said, I haven't read it, so maybe that kind of style would work for it. A bunch
The,
of
the
people.
style, the style does work, but I do think that a more enhanced style, a more extreme style of animation could also like really do fun for it. Which is why I said Hinamatsuri, because Hinamatsuri has like the flip. I know you know what I'm talking about. Where like, it
Yeah.
gets like mega detailed faces all of a sudden, where like
Yeah.
it goes like really into like articulate style. So like something I felt like of that nature would better suit it. But I mean, it works because I do see what they're going for. Because it's very I'll have to say that slapsticky. Well, not slapsticky, but the
Okay.
gags are pretty quick. You know what I mean? It's like
Okay.
it kind of works with the elements that you go. So
In that case, I could see it working. I could see people coming around on it and being like, "Oh, this, it may not be as fluid as we want, but it does work to
or
tell
like
the
maybe like
story."
a grand blue is also what I would say. It could have used a grand blue
Mhm.
treatment, like the extremely detailed like gags or like comedy level moments. But it does work. It's not like it doesn't work. It makes sense.
Another thing I got here, Ray. Did you watch Game of Thrones or did you read the books?
I read the
Either of those
novels.
two? You read them? Okay. That's good enough because you know the content, okay? I watched the show.
Who was your favorite character, by the way?
That's tough. Okay. So here's the thing. I think early on it was probably Tyrion.
Tyrion was like a lot of everyone's. Like, I love Tyrion as well.
Tyrion probably never left my like top 3. Um what is her name? Arya.
Daenerys, Arya.
Arya joined my top 3 probably like halfway through the show.
Arya pretty much rose like I used to think Arya was just like a baby and like
Hmm.
but like Arya ascending and growing up, it kind of like
She was like pretty cool in the first couple seasons. She had like hints of like this is gonna be a cool character, but then once she like, once she did the whole no identity thing, and she just became wild.
yeah.
She was like an assassin basically.
It's like in the books they just started that, so I don't know where the show went with that. The assassin route with her.
Oh, okay, okay.
Like the books just like had it like starting like with that. So,
Um,
but
but
like she was still doing cool stuff with it. So it's like she's like what like the nameless or like the no faces or like
name.
faceless, whatever. So like yeah.
I really like Daenerys. I liked her the entire way through, even towards the end where people may not have liked her. I don't know, but I thought she was a cool character the whole way.
Like Daenerys and Tyrion like pairing up, I heard was like it's something I wanted always.
Yeah, it was really cool. And even like, I mean, another very basic answer, but Jon Snow was dope the whole way through. You know.
It's like I always like the Hound, and it's really weird for me to say the Hound.
No, the Hound is cool. Yeah, I mean, I think
It's
in
like
the
the Hound is very grounded as a character.
I think he's another one, kind of like Arya, where as the story goes, he gets cooler and cooler, and he gets like more depth to his character. Where like
Mhm,
by the end, it's like, oh yeah, I understand why he did everything he did and why he feels that way. You know,
mhm. Like the Hound, I think is interesting. I think Jamie.
Jamie was cool. Yeah, I didn't like him in the beginning, but
They deep down on purpose down the beginning. They make you not like him.
so
He has like a slight redemption. I'm not sure how the show goes about it, but like
the redemption
at
for
least
him. Do you want
yeah.
to hear? Okay, I don't know if you want me to spoil it for you, Ray. I imagine the books are gonna be different, but I don't know how you feel about that.
Mhm. Oh, sure, yeah. Go hit me with the show. What they did.
Okay, so again, this is spoilers for the show. If you're a book reader, it's probably going to be different. In all honesty, he's never going to write another book. He said, what did he say? He said over quarantine, he's written thousands of pages for the next book, but he's
To
still
be fair
not
though,
done.
those books are thick.
But
I'll give him.
like,
I'll
you've
give him
had
thick.
like the
You had
last
years
book.
though. You've had years.
I think the last book came out when the show
When we were in high
started.
school, we were in high school.
Yeah.
The book came out.
But anyway, so it'll probably be different, but it's still spoilers, just in case, Do you know? Okay, so Jamie, I don't know where he is in the books, but he gets cool, right? He kind of comes around. He asks to redeem himself. He gets to fight on the winning side, or not the winning side, the protagonist side, where we're like, yeah, he's part of us now. Um, the funniest thing about his character, though, to me, and I don't know why it's funny, but it's okay. He dies at the end, right? He doesn't live.
Mhm.
I
Okay,
think it's the
I'm
last
not surprised.
episode.
You're saying that.
The way he dies is like they were trying to be poetic with his death, but to me it was just really funny and I don't know. It was just like okay, I guess
It's already starting really funny. Kind of hits me. So let's see.
he does get into like a fight with someone. He fights with
Cersei maybe.
no he fights with
Brienne.
no I need you to stop.
Thinking of names.
What are the like Iron Islands? There's like those people, right? And there's like
Greyjoys.
yeah, the
Like the
Greyjoys, right? Okay, so then there's the dude who thinks he's like all that. He's like, no, the Greyjoy stuff belongs to me. And I don't know what his name is. I'm probably not describing it well, but he then gets in with Cersei and he's like, listen, I got all these ships. Okay. You have our fleet. Okay. And like he's going behind Theon and Theon's sister. He's like going behind their backs and doing this.
okay.
Um, and he's like, listen, Cersei, I got all this stuff. I'll give it to you. Just like remember I did this. So that's like his whole character thing. By the end, he like gets into a fight with uh, Jamie. Jamie kills him. It's a weird fight. It was like on a beach, and they were both doing very poorly. Weird fight. I don't like it. But he kills him, and then he's like, haha, this is how I wanted to die. And I'm like, you're an odd man. But the way Jamie fights it's not that. He then goes from that. Daenerys is like destroying stuff. That's the whole thing about Daenerys. Why I was like, oh, people might not like her because she kind of turns on Jon Snow, and she like just starts fire breathing the whole King's Landing, just everything terrible.
Oh, didn't Bran win? I'm sorry. The one
Yeah,
who
he
chose
did.
not to
Yeah,
play.
he was what is it? It's not like king. I mean, it's Iron Throne. That's what it is. He gets the Iron
Yeah.
Throne basically. But Jamie Jamie reunites with Cersei, and I'm just like, this is awful. Because again, I don't know how it is in the books, but like Cersei at the like Cersei's thing is that she only cares about her family, right? And like Jamie's her family, but they like break up because Cersei takes like the war over him basically and is like, no, I have to destroy everything. I have to have revenge, and like they disagree on that. But then Jamie argues with I think Tyrion and is like, no, I have to go back to her. Like even though I don't want to, like I have to because he's still in love with her. He's like, he can't, I can't fight my feelings. It's really dumb, and I feel like it just destroys his whole character up until that point. And then, like I said, Daenerys destroying everything. The castle just falling, just crumbling down. We get some nice fights in there involving the Hound, which is really cool. But they meet up, Cersei and Jamie meet up, and it's like, oh, we're in love. This is crazy. And then the castle just falls on them as they're like holding hands. Like they're like still in the castle trying to escape or whatever, and it's just like crumbling and it falls on them, and
They
then
die?
then it cuts, and I'm just like, so did they die? And then
They
like,
were crushed?
and I think it's the next episode, which I think is the final episode. It's just like, yeah, I think Tyrion like walks up and he's because like he was supposed to meet with Jamie and them or something after they escaped, and he just goes up and he like sees, again, I don't know where it is in the books, but like Jamie like gets his arm cut off, and he gets like a gold hand or something, and he
Mhm.
just sees just sees Tyrion's, or not Tyrion. Tyrion sees Jamie's hand, and he's just like, oh wow, he's dead. It's just like, it's so funny because it's like, so that's,
First of all, it's such a Tyrion thing to say, but like,
he says, and he's like, he cries because like, he still loves Jamie, and they're brothers or whatever, but like it's just funny where it's like, oh man, he didn't make it. It's just like again, I get they're trying to be poetic where Jamie and Cersei still always loved each other. It makes sense that they would die together, but it's just like the castle crushed them, and then you cut to black. Like that's okay, whatever.
it just feels odd, I guess what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just, and then like again, like I feel like they destroyed his character where he built up to overcome everything. Like he fell in love with
He was even against Cersei at one point too.
he was, yeah, he was on opposite sides. He fell in love with Brienne, right? That's her name.
Yeah.
And then like, oh, that was the whole thing too, where he was like, "Yeah, I'm leaving," and she was like, "No, don't go," and she was like, "Yeah, I gotta go to Cersei," and like Bran is crying because they're like departing, they're going their separate ways, and he's just like, "Oh, I have to." And I'm like, "You don't have to. You don't have to go there. Like, that's not how this has to end."
Come on, man.
Just
Man.
like his death was just so funny to me because it's just like, this is dumb. What are we doing? But yeah, the whole thing with Game of Thrones, the reason I brought that up, Ray, is because they're doing a spinoff. Okay.
Alright.
I don't know if it's a prequel or not. I don't remember. I don't really care. But something came out this past week where they were like, hey, there's not going to be any there's not going to be any graphic violence against women in this show.
What?
And that doesn't make any sense because like I get not having stuff like that. Like I understand why they would say that, right? The whole with the PR and like, you know, being respectful and all that, but like that's the time period. You know what I mean? Like it'd be weird if they did, I don't know, like if they're if they're doing a show about um I don't know, like the 1800s of America or something, and they're like, yeah, but we're not gonna have slaves in our show though. Like we're not gonna portray that. And it'd be like, but that was America. Like that's how it was. If you're doing that, then that's historically inaccurate. The time period doesn't make any sense. It was like when people were mad at Dunkirk for not having any black people in the movie. And it's like, do you know where this movie takes place? Like, do you understand geography and again the time period? So people are just going off on this and being like, that doesn't make sense. Like that is the show. That is how women were treated at that
So,
time.
I think they forgot the red wedding. I think they need a reminder.
Literally the red wedding. Literally, like
The red wedding.
how Daenerys was treated for like the first 2 seasons. How
Yeah.
like how what's the other Stark sister?
John.
The redhead. Sansa. How
Sansa.
how she
Yes.
was treated, especially with like,
Oh yeah, when she was treated when she
like
was at the house. It's
yeah,
like
it's just like it doesn't make sense. So then people are like, oh, this is gonna be like a Disney Channel version of Game of Thrones, basically, and no one wants that, you know. So I don't know. I don't know why they would do something like that. But I mean, I get it, but it's really dumb. Did you hear about kind of staying on the whole like censorship thing? There's been a lot of censorship in the past 2 weeks in media, right? I don't know if you've heard about any of this.
So I usually try to stay away from
There's um Disney pulling movies like Dumbo, you know, not letting kids watch it on their service because of like, like racial depictions, right? With with Dumbo specifically, I know it's like the like crows are based off of whatever back in the day when people would go in blackface and like sing and dance and whatever. There was there was a much funnier censoring thing that happened with Space Jam 2. I don't know if you saw that, the whole Lola Bunny thing. They're like, "Oh, they changed the design. This isn't, you know, not not our Lola Bunny." That whole thing, and it's like, "Oh, it's because it's a kids movie." And then with that same line, Pepe Pepe Le Pew, I think is his name, the skunk
Mhm.
from Looney Tunes. You know how he's like always after the cat in the show. That's like his thing. We're
Yes.
like, "Oh, we have to cancel him because that that supports like rape culture," And I'm like, I don't,
Does it though? Like
just
my man can shoot his shot. Let me. I think like some of them are like obviously pushing it, but like it's like a testament to the time? Question
sure.
mark. Where like I guess it's like like the gag is that he's trying to be a womanizer, but he often fails anyway. It's always like a cat or like some other like person or like creature that like always ends up.
Yeah, I know
Mhm.
with him specifically, people actually broke it down and was like, he is not he is not sexually harassing her, and here's why. And they have like bullet points of like that's the gag, like he's doing it because he thinks she's a skunk. That's funny because she's actually a cat. Like he never actually did anything to her. Like she pushes him away and he's just like, well, like I don't know. I feel like with all of this stuff, do you think that kids actually like kids actually take this stuff and they like take it to heart, you know, with something like Dumbo and the whole racial depiction thing? Like, do you think that's necessary for for like my kid can't watch this or else he'll be a racist when he grows up?
Mhm.
Like, I don't know if kids take cartoons that seriously. I feel like I watched Looney Tunes as a kid. Love Looney Tunes, all of them. Like I watched some of the shorts that had Pepe in it, and I wasn't like, oh man, I'm gonna. That is the way. I was like, haha,
It's like
that's
I
funny.
just thought it was funny. I'm like, oh, he's trying to get but the cat, and look at him, he got slapped. What a loser.
Yeah. Like I was always rooting for the cat because it's funny. It's funny for her to
Mhm.
do
To
something so
beat on
simple.
him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like watching Bugs Bunny, Elmer Fudd. You think I'm gonna root for Elmer? No, heck no. I'm rooting for Bugs, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like censorship is weird. Like, uh, them pulling things, like people taking things out, and it's like, is it fair to take away history? Right? Like these things happened. If we erase all depictions of like racism or sexual harassment or anything like that, like, does that cure it? Because I don't think it does.
It
You
does
know?
nothing actually. You're what is it like? Other stuff like make like great depictions of it and like properly display. I think again like this is why I pull up like a silent voice is a great thing
Oh,
because it doesn't like point at it points at bullying in like a different aspect. It's like this is bullying right here. You know, but like, you can replace that with like anything. Like this could be like racism or something like that. Anything that's like depicted. You just need to depict it. And like have it be viewed and seen. Get Out was a very great spin on racism.
I agree. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point with like all these like movies and stuff like that, where if you want to take out all of the bad stuff, all of the general ideas that we deem as morally wrong, right? Then like so much would not exist. Like, think of, like, Jojo Rabbit. I don't know if you've seen that yet, but, like
Oh, yeah, I've heard of it. I don't have to, like, look at it. It's like you're taking out the idea of, like, Nazis and, like,
yeah,
Hitler and the Reich,
exactly.
like,
Like,
anti-Semitism.
at that point, it's like, "Oh, well, it depicts one of the worst things, like, in human history," right? With the whole Hitler thing. And it's like, well, should that movie exist? Because it depicts Hitler. And it even kinda like, makes light of him. So it's like, "Oh, are we teaching kids that Hitler wasn't as bad as he actually was?" Like, no, it's just a movie. The same thing with Get Out, right? It's like, well, there's racism in that movie, so it shouldn't exist. We don't want kids to watch it, even accidentally, and be like, "Oh, they're buying and selling black people." Like, okay, maybe I'll grow up with that mindset. Like, no, like it's a movie. I feel like exactly like you said, there are depictions that need to exist, and as long as you do them in a certain way, as long as either they're historically accurate, like completely historically accurate, or you make it very clear in the movie that, hey, this bad thing is bad. Like even at the end of Get Out, like it's
Mhm,
very clear that, hey, that was like the white people were not the heroes of that movie. Like you should not be like them. Very
mhm.
clear. It's not like, oh,
Yeah.
well they won. You know,
Let's also, like, look at, like, Django and 12 Years a Slave, more recent movies as well.
sure, yeah, yeah.
You're like, look at that, like, the depiction is there. It's not like, you know, it's bad, okay? It's like, Django was like a freed slave. Are you kidding me?
Mhm. And it's
It's
like
like,
history. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like this happened. People should know what happened. I mean, what are we just gonna destroy textbooks? I feel like textbooks have an agenda anyway, but just the
mhm.
idea of like history class, right? Like
It's like, like censoring by, like, burning or, like, restricting media. It's like you banned books again. You know, banned books.
it's like oh man, I just had it. It was
Fahrenheit.
yeah, actually I had two thoughts. One of it was Fahrenheit. That was what I was thinking of. The other one was more recently, the past couple years, it's been a big thing in real life about destroying statues, right? Statues of like uh Confederate leaders, right? And
No,
there's a
it's like,
big
it's like I understand where they're coming from for, like, destroying them, but I also don't understand, like, destroy the statue, right? You're destroying what it stands for, because it stands for, like, the Confederacy, right? And I can almost guarantee in, like, Germany, most likely don't have, like, a statue of Hitler.
exactly.
Hmm.
Which kind of goes to that point where it's like, no, we shouldn't take away racism in movies. Like within the story, not like in making them, but like
I'm about to look at it. Is there a Hitler
us
statue in Germany?
us destroying statues of Confederate people doesn't destroy history. Like we still know about them and learn about them. Like, do you know what the point of a statue is? Like a statue is not it's not just there to remember someone. You're like praising them. You're like, whoa, this
No.
dude was
So,
so
so there
dope.
is no Nazi statues in Germany at all.
Just like there shouldn't be, but do you think
There,
they don't know about what happened? Like, no, they all they all very
they
much
they all
know.
very much know, and I can still guarantee there are still Nazis in Germany. What? That's
Oh,
bold.
1000%, yeah. There's Nazis here, like yeah, it's just like there are certain times
It's
to
like,
destroy things, but I don't
so I
know.
understand what you're saying, like destroy the Confederacy statues, because like you're promoting something that doesn't exist.
Exactly, yeah.
Mhm.
And
It's
like
it's
that,
it's
like
like you they're not here.
no one looks at the statues and is like, that's how I learn about these things.
You
You
can still
know,
learn about it without the statue.
exactly.
Some people argue it's censorship on that part, but there's a reason why they don't have Nazi statues in Germany. It's to not idolize these people.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yes. That's a great word, idolize. Yes.
You do not want to idolize the Confederacy, no matter what people tell you about this. The Confederacy was always formed, no matter what, over the rights to sell humans.
Hmm. It's just like not good. It just doesn't make sense. Like, um, you, th- there's not going to be a big deal over taking. I mean, there would be a big deal, but like for a much different reason. If they were to take down a Kobe statue in front of the Staples Center, right? They're like, why would like that would be a big deal because it's like, hey, like he means a lot to us. Like he like basketball means
Well,
more to the
it's like
city.
a different, it's a different thing, you know. It's
Yes,
a different dynamic. Like one is like the goal is entertainment. Like
exactly.
Kobe stands for, you know, one of the greatest performers in like the history of a sport, which again,
Hmm.
purpose entertainment. You know, it's like a physically, you know, like a man of like like 1%, you know, of the world is
And also he
possibly like
did,
in there.
he did a lot for the city, a lot for the people in the city by
A
being
lot
there.
internationally,
Exactly. Yeah.
an international icon, not just like a national icon, internationally, like working with people with basketball,
Hmm.
with the sport, you know.
But like taking down a Confederate is like, yeah, we're taking it down because
This
that,
is a war statue.
yeah,
This is it stands for something that's against the values of this nation.
exactly. Yes. Like it is very clear what this is. It's not like, oh, well, now we'll never know. It's like this crazy, wild, you know.
So I'm actually all for the rippage.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like, I understand why they say don't do it, but like there's a very different thing here
Yeah. It's
that's
very
going on.
different.
So there's a different dynamic here that you have to understand. It's not like we're tearing them down because we want to. I think it's partially part, you know. It's like there's no reason for them to be here.
Yeah. It's like they shouldn't have been here in the first place.
Mhm.
It's like it was funny to me too when like people wave like a Confederate flag. I don't know how we got here, but when people wave a Confederate flag and it's like,
That should be considered treason, honestly.
and like that's not pride. Like, y-
You're
like
not showing your pride in this nation.
like you do understand that was a different nation that went against America, right? Do you know that?
It literally like seceded and did its own thing.
Yeah,
Not saying like Texas didn't do it either as well, because Texas was its own nation at one point. But it's like, come on, guys. But
that's not the same as waving like the like Betsy Ross flag. It's one with like this like the circle and the stars. Like
mhm,
that's like early
yeah,
America. That's still our country.
mhm.
I don't know. It's crazy. Did you
And
see
well,
that those
the nice political tangent, so they all know we're leftist.
yeah. Did you see that what's the other thing I have on here? Completely different. Um we know that Endgame, somehow circling all the way back to MCU. Endgame is like the highest movie, grossing movie ever or whatever. Avatar just got re-released in theaters. and and now, wouldn't you know, Avatar is number 1 again.
I will say Avatar is a spectrum of its time. I'll say this right here. Avatar has many things going for it. One, it's a standard sci-fi movie with great subverting expectations.
I feel like Avatar is just as important as Endgame is for different reasons, right?
Mhm.
Um, I feel like the big thing with
Pioneer of 3D movies.
exactly right with the animation, like wasn't the story like James Cameron waited like a decade to tell the
Hmm.
story because he had to wait for technology to catch up.
Hmm.
Um, I don't think I don't think it's as good of a movie. I think that people always compare it to Pocahontas. It's
I
like it's
compare it to
basically
Wally.
Pocahontas,
I mean,
or it's
for
like
different reasons. It's like it's an ecological sense of a movie.
yeah. I mean, I think yeah. I mean, it was
Save the planet, save the world.
yeah. I mean, and then Endgame is different, where it's like it's a spectacle in its own right, where it's like the culmination of something in the film industry that has literally never happened before.
It's like
So
it may be like the biggest event in film history.
mhm.
It's like
Because
years of filmmaking has come like it's arrived at this point.
exactly, yeah.
The first conclusion of many.
I mean, like yeah, like the MCU was the first to ever treat movies like television. Where it's like, oh, you have to watch all. I mean, you don't have to, but you should watch every single one of our movies, not because they're all good, but because they weave in and out of each other.
They blend together just to make this one story. And they all have their own parts and their own roles that they all act in, but they're all independent from each other as well.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there isn't a single MCU movie that you couldn't watch and enjoy it, even if you haven't seen other ones. Like, you would enjoy it more if you've watched other ones, but like you could watch Thor 2 right now and you won't enjoy it the same way that I wouldn't enjoy it. But that's because it's not a good movie.
Just walk along, dude. Just
Yeah.
watch along. They having a fun time.
What do you want to see in the MCU, Ray? Going forward, we're now starting up again. We got WandaVision. You know.
I told you, man. I'm looking forward to see Spider-Man 3 and maybe Craven.
Oh yeah,
Cause
Craven. Yeah,
Craven.
there was rumors that Craven was going to be in Spider-Man 3, wasn't there?
Yes, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that it actually is true. And there's like the rumors again that they're bringing all these old actors in from all the old Spider-Man movies.
I gotta watch Into the Spider-Verse again.
It's such a great movie, by the way.
God, it's so good.
It is the best Spider-Man movie.
Oh, easily. Like it's not even close, dude. And
It's like
the Tom Holland ones are pretty good. Like I thoroughly enjoy Homecoming and Far From Home. But Spider-Verse is just special, you know. I really hope, you know, this is a huge task for the people over at Sony who are making the sequel, because we expect another 10 out of 10
oh yeah,
from the
definitely.
Spider-Verse
You know how
sequel.
hard it is to match that? It's like Spider-Verse is so good. At least if you're a comic fan, you love Spider-Verse. It's everything that you ever wanted for Spider-Man.
Do we know? Again, I haven't watched it in a while. I assume you haven't either, but you know, we can still try to speculate. Do you remember if there was any trails that kind of lead us to what could be the sequel? Like, do you think
No,
that it's a direct sequel, or do you think they're just going to go somewhere else in the Spider-Verse?
it's pretty open. It's left pretty open for that. The only thing I remember is that like he jumps in with Gwen
Okay, yeah, you're
because
right.
Gwen asks for his help, and he jumps in.
Oh, yeah, right. Because wasn't that like he was laying in bed and then like a
Mhm.
portal opened, like above him or something?
And she says, "Miles, you know, like we need you," or
Okay,
something like,
so
"I need you." Yeah.
that's probably what it'll be. It'll be like something crazy is going on in her world, and she's like gathering up all the Spider Men and women. She's like, "Yo, something wild is happening right now." And then Tobey Maguire is just gonna stroll on in. I would really like, I think there's rumors of like people wanting other like live action Spider-Men to voice act and like be in the Spider-Verse or whatever. It'd be really cool if they make them too. Like they actually model them so we see like a animated version of Tobey Maguire. I just think it would look really funny. You know? All this dumb face. Yeah, I think it's a huge task, and I don't envy them at all for having to live up to that. And then what? Something just got delayed. I don't think you've seen any of the Fast and Furious movies, right, Ray? You're not a big
You know,
Fast and
I've seen the
Furious fan?
first one.
Seen the first one? Okay. I
But
know.
that was before Fast and Furious became Fast and Furious.
Oh yeah. I know Fast 9 just got delayed. You know John Cena's in Fast 9? And
Gotta
wait,
watch
wait,
Fast
okay.
9 though.
Okay, hold on. So you didn't know this. So I assume you don't know who John Cena plays. Do you want to take a guess as to
Is he a
who?
part of the family?
Okay, he is. Do you want to take a guess specifically who John Cena plays? Like what his role is in this
I want him to
family?
be like the Rock stepbrother. I think
Okay,
it's so funny.
that is an amazing guess, and you are not far off. He's Vin Diesel's actual brother, like blood brother. which is just the best because they don't look like they're both white guys, but like they don't look like the same. You know?
I would have appreciated more if it was the Rock stepbrother.
Yeah, I think that would have been great.
They have a lot
But
of fun together, so it's not like
another thing that just got delayed was the next Minions movie. I know, I know you're a big Minions fan, Ray, so you probably already knew about this. Yeah, people are upset. They're not gonna get their Minions, you know? Did you also hear um iCarly is getting a reboot? Dude, I'm so excited.
Yeah,
They're
what
bringing
was
all
it?
the other actors, you know?
I saw someone like because like when you Pyro and Mithrin release obviously for Smash, okay.
Yeah.
But I saw someone came out with a meme that had Pyro and Mithra, and then next to it was Sam and Cat, and I was like, no.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
I was like, let's go. That's a great meme, by the way. Whoever made it, you're wonderful.
Um, yeah, and I think I have a couple more things, Ray. How do you feel about the Switch Pro that it pretty much got confirmed?
I'm excited, dude. I'm actually looking for a new Switch only because one, indeed this is the major reason. I got like the first generation one, so it has like low battery life, but also like my chip reader doesn't work.
Hmm.
I don't feel like sending it into repair, so they could send me something that doesn't work, or either
Right.
like because I've heard the horror stories of people getting not their Switch, or like either
Yeah.
it's fixed for like a couple days and it comes back and it's like I gotta send it again.
I also heard it can take a long time.
So I'd rather just buy a new one, honestly.
I mean,
Some people are gonna be like, "Oh, hey, why you bought it? So fix it. Just send it in. Let them fix it." I don't want to.
I
Risk
don't
anything.
want to.
Risk anything. That could be nonsensical.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably buy the new Switch. I mean, I haven't really used mine too much, but I mean, over the past year, they haven't really released a whole lot of games. But I mean, a new Switch is great because that means that they're about to release some top tier games. You know what I mean? Because why else would they do it? You know. Um, I just really need that new Breath of the Wild, and I need a Mario Odyssey too. That is what I need, and I'll be good. Um, Going back to anime, Ray, I wanted to mention this before, but just a little fun thing. I don't know if you knew this. Along with the Devil's a Part Timer getting a season 2, and along with the husband whatever it was show getting an anime, Misfit Demon King got a second season. I just thought it would be fun for you to know since we covered it on here. you know, it's getting a second
Did it
season.
really? Did it really
Yeah,
get a second?
it's it's getting a second season.
Raymond looks it up right now because I'm like,
And I just thought you'd want to know if you didn't know. Because that is very special to me. Listen, Misfit Demon King, I didn't love. I thought it was cool,
let
you
me.
know.
We had such big brain hopes for the show, only for it to not be big brain. But
That was
with a
the theme
season
that
two,
season.
what?
That was the theme that season. We had big brain hopes for the other show too.
The entire season was big brain Raymond and Tyler.
Yeah. Didn't work out though.
Did not work out. No, it didn't. She's still trying to jump off that building.
Yeah. Dude, if Sing Yesterday ever gets a second season, we have to do it. You
What
know?
was it? I look up Misfit Demon King season 2, and the first article is 7 days ago. Will there be a Misfit Demon King Academy season 2? I'll explain there is no Misfit Demon King Academy season 2. Okay, that's 7 days ago. Next
Okay.
article, 4 days ago, Misfit Demon King season 2 announced.
Yeah.
Get bodied.
Wow. Ended his whole career.
Roasted and toasted. You lost all your credibility when you said no way in hell there'll be a season 2. Look at you now. You got destroyed on the internet by the studio saw it and they're like, we're about to ruin this entire man's career. We weren't gonna make the season 2, but out of spite now we will.
I really hope that that's what happened. Where they're just like scrolling through Twitter and they're like, "Oh no, season 2! All right, let's do it."
Like, this guy says there's definitely not 100% going to be a season 2, huh? Ready the animators. Get the paper ready. We're about to make draft scripts and everything. This guy doesn't know what's about to happen.
I feel like he
on the
should make more
screen.
articles of like, man, there's definitely not going to be a season 2 of No Game No Life, and just
No
see what
game, no
happens.
life, never happening.
You know,
Check this guy. Check this.
turns out we don't want more Konosuba. You know, don't give it to us. Another show you have to watch, right? Or another anime, right? I think you mentioned it to me of how it's on your list or whatever. But the
Dude, this guy looked mathematically into it. I'm looking at the article right now. He's like, we're looking at three things, dude. We're looking at how much novels there are. He's like, 6 books didn't get used for the first season of the anime. That should be enough for 2 more seasons. Considering the first season only used 3 volumes. Okay, all right. Season. He's looking at the sales now. He's like, look at the sales. He's like, the sales look average. They didn't lose money. They didn't make a big profit though. So I don't know if they could actually value this. It's like popularity. Um, you know, wasn't that popular, but maybe it'll be more popular if it gets to season 2. And then who's the misfit in the academy?
yeah, I
Sorry.
don't know. I haven't read the source, but I'm
It's a very
interested to
light
see
novel.
where it goes.
To be fair though, like it's another one of those shows where you can just chill and like sit down and watch it and just have a vibe in time because you know he's like stronger than everyone else there.
I hope that they do something different though, because I don't know. Like the first season already wasn't like spectacular, so if the second season just kind of does the same thing, you know what I mean? I don't know how much people will like it.
See, people say something about One Punch, but I mean,
I never watched season 2 of One Punch. Never got around to it.
what makes One Punch interesting is that they do spend time. Oh, like he uses like this is me talking about like I guess how one does it. He specifically saves Saitama now, like as you were going through it, and like has him appear like you know later on. Like he'll have like the other heroes do like their own thing, and like Saitama like he takes his time getting there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The
yeah. I was,
kid.
funny enough, I was actually thinking about this the other day and
Mhm.
about how like OP main character anime and how they work, and I was thinking about One Punch Man and like, to me, it is like the world around him is interesting. The like goofs and gags around him are interesting, and that's why he works.
Mhm.
Even though he can kill everything with one punch.
It's like all the other characters are just so cool and so unique.
Exactly.
Even the
Yeah.
villains too. They all have like their own like character, makes them all look interesting. Um, so One Punch definitely does work because of that reason. It's like he's very generic and bland, because he just randomly became a hero overnight. I mean, he trained for it, but like now he's like bored. He's like battle hungry, but like he just hides it.
He's like always looking for coupons and sales.
Mhm.
That's his
That's his
thing.
real battle right now.
Yeah. Um.
But I just
So
think personally I like Mob more, but it's because Mob just hits harder.
yeah, I have to watch season 2 of Mob Psycho. I haven't watched that yet.
You'll love it.
I'm sure I will. Yeah. Before we go, Ray, 'cause I don't have anything else.
Oh,
That's it.
okay. Well, we
Um.
covered all of it. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I don't know when you have to leave. I don't know if we're edging
It's
up on
at
that
we're
time.
like pretty close, so
Okay.
we'll
So
close it up soon, I guess.
before we go, Ray, how many episodes are we watching for next time?
We're
Are we
doing
just
two
doing
and
two
two.
again? Okay, okay.
It's like, 'cause we're pretty close to the new season starting, so that gives us some buffer as well.
I just want to make it clear so that everyone knows. Everyone, knows what to do.
Okay, so this time we did 4. We did tell you though in the beginning we did 4. It was supposed to be 2 and 2, but we were having technical issues for a week, so
Every week that we skip, we usually just add more, just because why not?
it makes sense. It's easy. It's an easy method. Not anything hard.
And like we
So
don't
yeah.
want to fall too far behind either. Where
Mhm.
because then once next season comes around, we do want to do 2 new shows.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I will have to start looking at because we are just close. I think there's like 2 or 3 weeks left. So I feel like I'll have to start looking at the other shows, see what's up with next season. And I hope that it's not all just sequels, so that we can actually pick 2 of them. Even though the 2 that we picked are pretty good.
Yeah. So 2 episodes of One Reg, 2 episodes
Cells at Work Black.
Censor Black, and that should be it. Unless we're doing like Winter and Falcon or Soldier, I think, and maybe I'll do Queen's Gambit. That's really up to me.
Yeah, if you do Queen's Gambit, we'll definitely talk about it. If you start watching Queen's Gambit, I need you to tell me because I will rewatch it.
Okay, I will. I
Okay.
will let you know if I'm watching it.
And then just kind of let me know. I mean, if you can, as best you can, how many episodes you're doing, so I can stay on track. And then with Falcon Winter Soldier, it comes out on Friday. So
Okay.
if you watch it, if you end up being able to watch the first episode, we can talk about it.
I'll have to see. I may not have to. It may have to be till next week. The next recording after that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's you just let me know.
But whenever that happens, we'll definitely do that. But
Yeah.
Queen's Gambit's probably gonna be more fittable because anime is pretty easy to binge. You just like watch a couple episodes and you're done.
Queen's Gambit, not an anime.
I'm not watching much anime though. Like it's like Attack on Titan this season, like Jobless
Oh, okay,
Reincarnation,
yeah.
and like I just those other two, and that's it. Beastars I skipped out on, which I probably should watch it though. So
I haven't started either. I've been like scared to start it because I'm like I have such high hopes for it. You know?
I'll say season 2 should be poggier than season 1.
Okay.
All right, now I have to go because my time limit's like really reaching it now.
Yeah. All right. See you, Ray.
Have fun, guys.